Gamescom 2026 continues. Coming up today on Gamescom Studio,
I won't let you down.
Final Fantasy VII Revelation,
You're our only shot at survival.
Control Resonant,
Team up and catch this jerk.
Persona 4 Revival,
Seize your destiny.
Exodus,
I will take back everything that belongs to me.
and Tides of Annihilation. All that and much more coming up. Gamescom Studio starts right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new day of Gamescom Studio 2026. I'm Max Scoville, and I'm joined by Damon Hatfield and Jane Douglas.
The last few days have been a blast. We're going to keep the party going today with a ton of trailers, gameplay deep dives, and developer interviews.
If you want an easy way of keeping track of the games you most want to play, check out the official Gamescom Steam event page. It is the easiest way to add them to your wish list.
Let's check out with Brian out on the spotlight stage and get a look at what is in store later today.
Thank you guys so much. In just a sec, we are going to check out what's happening with Final Fantasy VII Revelation. After that, the Persona 4 remake, and after that, Terranigma. But right now, let's see what's happening on the Gamescom show floor.
The Final Fantasy VII Remake saga was announced long ago, and now the final entry in the trilogy, Final Fantasy VII Revelation, lies on a foreboding horizon. Here with me to discuss Final Fantasy VII Revelation, it is my pleasure to have Naoki Hamaguchi, director of the Remake saga, and his interpreter, Gavin Poffley. Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Of course, so let's get right to it. Over at ONL, you had an excellent trailer where you showcased a lot of the weapons from the Final Fantasy VII, I guess, saga in general. So talk to me about their inclusion in the story. How are they encountered?
やっぱそこはこう原作をある程度オマージュしているので、メインストーリーに組み込まれたウェポンもいれば、そのメインストーリーではなく、それこそ最後のボスよりも強いエンドコンテンツとして出てくるような魅力的なウェポンっていうのも用意されています。
So it was pretty much as it was in the original Final Fantasy VII that the game is based on. There's some of the weapons are going to be integral parts of the main story. Other ones of them are going to be more kind of end game content, these super high level challenge bosses for people to fight after they've probably completed the main game.
I'd love to hear it. So are you saying that like Ruby and Emerald are still optional?
それはどうでしょうかね。それは実際ゲームでLet's play.
I wonder. I think maybe you're going to have to see what it's like in the game.
All right, I'm being scolded, so that's fair enough. So the extended look at the weapons also included seeing Emerald underwater, and finally fans got confirmation that yes, we would be in a submarine. So can you talk a little bit about the submarine's inclusion in Revelation?
そうですね。まだこうゲームがこう発売されている前なので、あまりこう多くは語らない方がいいかなと思いますが、今回こう出た映像の中にいろんなヒントがあるので、そこから考察にしてみてほしいですけど、やっぱりこうエメラルドウェポンとこう対峙するときに非常に重要な役割になっているのは多分映像からも伝わると思います。
Yeah, so I think there were a lot of little hints and points within the video that people saw. And I don't want to talk too much about that. I'd rather leave people to think about that and wonder what's going on in the game. And I want them to find out when they actually play the game. But rest assured that in the battle against Emerald Weapon, yes, the submarine does play quite an important role.
So with the awakening of the weapons kind of coming out to defend the planet as well as the threat of Meteor, that is naturally going to shape the world of Gaia. You know, what was your team's philosophy behind revisiting areas that the players have gone through in Remake and Rebirth, but also adapting them to the cataclysmic disaster that looms on the horizon that, you know, without it feeling like we're doing the same thing or revisiting the same location. So how did you refresh those locations?
まさにそのポイントっていうのは非常に我々にとっても重要な課題でした。
So that really was a very important challenge for us in making the game.
まず一つ目おっしゃってくださったように、メテオが出てきて、こう世界がいろいろこう終末に向かおうとしてる中、いろいろこう各地でいろんなこう地殻変動とかが起きて、ワールドマップ、これまでのリバースのワールドマップ自体もやっぱ変化を入れています。
So there's two main parts to it, and the first part is exactly what you just described there. obviously with the approach of Meteor and the rise of the weapons, there is that effect, those kind of influences and changes which they have caused on the geography of the world. So obviously the locations around the world that would have been featured in the previous game in Rebirth, there has been a number of changes to the physical appearance of those regions.
ただやっぱそれだけだとまだ新鮮には足りないと思っています。
But I think if we just did that, it still would be lacking in terms of novelty and interest.
重要なのは探索の仕方だと思っています。
I think what's really important here is the way that you explore these locations.
今作ハイウィンドウでワールドマップを地球規模で飛んで星規模で飛んで、そこからパラシュートで飛び降りてダイレクトにワールドマップを探索できること自体のことは、映像でも皆さんにお伝えしていると思います。
So I think we've already shown it in the video that we've released is how you are exploring this world. You're flying around on the high wind basically on a planetary scale. You can go anywhere in this world from the air and then parachute down and land in the individual regions of Gaia.
で今作は、リバースっていうのはオープンワールドで広大なエリアを探索するっていうのをコンセプトにゲームデザインを作ってましたが、今作はそこにさらに高さの情報を足してただ平面に広いんではなくて空間でゲーム探索冒険できるっていうところをすごく意識しています。
So the theme or the concept for the world and how you navigated the world in the previous game, in Rebirth, was very much having a broad, very expansive world, but you were traveling along at ground level on a sort of, how you say, horizontal kind of traversal and navigation. What we've done to expand and really bring that to the next level with Revelation is to add that verticality, the fact you're really exploring in a 3D environment with not just going straight across a ground level, you can explore the world basically in a three-dimensional sense.
なので高さの要素が入ったことでこれまでの既存のマップであっても全く違った見え方の景色だったり違った探索の仕方っていうのが実現できていて、今回映像にあるような、パラシュートもそうですし、まだあまり詳細で出してませんけどチョコボも使ったようなチョコボ自体も前作よりもさらに機動性が上がっていたりします。
So, like I said, you traveling around the world, and that's the verticality, the fact that you're exploring these locations from the air and you'll see them from above, really does change how these locations are perceived and how they feel as areas. And that really does help to make them feel new and fresh, even if you visited them before. And I say, you'll be doing that from the high wind. It was already shown in the video.
Yeah.
You come down on the parachutes and land. One thing that perhaps we haven't shown as much detail with yet is the chocobos. They really have a lot more dynamism and mobility in how they can help you traverse the world in 3D as well.
でももちろんその既存のエリアだけじゃなくて、ウータイ、ミディール、ロケットなどもう新しいエリアもたくさん出てくるので、既存のエリアと合わせてすごく多くの人に楽しんでもらえるようになっていると思います。
So I think there really is a lot in the game for fans to enjoy, and it's not just the same locations you visited before, which have been given a new and fresh appearance. There's also completely new places. So you've got places like Wutai, you've got Mid-Eel, you've got Rocket Town. There's really a lot in there for people to see.
I think one thing fans were really shocked about, especially, going back to the remake, was remake Intergrade specifically, was the inclusion of Vice and Nero from the Deep Ground. That opened up the possibilities of the sequel series of games in the compilation of Final Fantasy VII. Right. How did you and your team kind of pick and choose? What's the philosophy behind what you leave behind in the compilation and what you feel is appropriate to carry forward? Will we see any sort of follow-up on, that thread and possibly in Wutai?
いや、皆さん知りたいですよね。
Everyone wants to know that, don't they?
ただ今私がここで急にこんなキャラも出ますこんなキャラも出ますって言ったら多分皆さん驚くと思うのでそれはまず言うことはできませんと。
So first of all, I just like to say, if I was just going to come out now and say, oh yeah, this character's in it, this guy's in it, you'll see this guy, it would be a big surprise to people, but it wouldn't be a good thing, so I'm not going to say that.
ただ一つだけ言えることがあります。
There is one thing I can say though.
今回のそのファイナルファンタジー7のリメイクシリーズっていうのは当然リベレーションだけじゃなくてこれまでの3部作もその中で出てきた DLC にしてもその原作のファイナルファンタジー7っていうのをただ作り直すのではなくてこれまでのコンピレーション作品の設定も全て内包した新しいファイナルファンタジー7として再創作するっていうのが我々の目標です。
So the objective we had, not just with Revelation, but with all three of the games in the remake trilogy, was to remake not just the original Final Fantasy VII itself, but to create a new version of the Final Fantasy VII universe, which includes all of the compilation, the side stories, the side content, spin-off titles within that content from the beginning.
なのでこれまでのリメイクとかリバースの中でもやっぱコンピレーションの要素っていうのはやっぱ新たに追加されていて、それが皆さんにとってきっといい意味で驚きだったと思いますけど、そのコンセプトっては当然リベレーションでも続いています。
So I think fans have seen that throughout the series so far in Remake and Rebirth, and I think that was a really nice surprise, and people reacted very positively to seeing the compilation characters appearing, and rest assured, quite naturally, that's going to continue into Revelation.
で当然やっぱリベレーションっていうのはもう最終作ですので、我々もいろんな手この手で皆さんにとってファンサービスになるような要素っていうのを再創作していますので、そこがどういう表現になるかっていうのは実際皆さん実際プレイして楽しんでみてください。
And obviously, with Revelation being the finale, the culmination of the series, the team got together and we thought really hard about what kind of those kind of fan service things, what kind of ways people would be excited to see these characters and these references to the spin-offs appear in it. So rest assured that there's a lot of great stuff there for people looking out for that.
Wonderful. Now I got two more questions and then I promise I won't take up any more of your time. So one thing that really impressed me with the entirety of the remake trilogy is how you managed to escalate and iterate on the combat system from remake to integrate the inclusion of synergy attacks and how you kind of up the ante even further with Rebirth, a more refined version of that. How do you balance it now with Revelation? You're adding the fit system on top of that, on top of an already complicated system. Is there ever any concern that you're making the combat system too complicated for players to juggle? How do you find the balance of what's too much versus what doesn't feel iterative enough?
はい、その部分を不安に感じる人がいるっていうのは理解できますが、まず一言言えるのは全く心配しないで大丈夫です。
So yeah, I completely understand that there will be people out there who will be concerned about that. So to put it very simply, you don't have to worry about it being too complicated at all.
今回我々の狙いはキャラクターのロールを自分でカスタマイズするっていうところが最大の目的です。
So the biggest objective with including the fit system in the game was to allow players to customize how the characters they want to use and pick the characters that they want to use.
今作これまでのリメイクリバースとチャレンジングしてるのは本当に最終作として自分の好きなキャラクターでパーティー構成をしてゲームを楽しんでもらいたいっていうのがあります。
So one of the objectives we had for the final game in the series with Revelation is to basically allow the player complete freedom about which party composition they want to use, to be able to pick exactly the characters that they want to use.
で、キャラクターのロールが固定されていると、どうしても自由に選んでと言いながら、やっぱある程度決められたロールでのパーティーセットっていうのがの傾向が見られるので、そこを今回本当に自由にユーザーに選んでもらいたいっていうところから、キャラクター自身のロールを自分でカスタマイズすることで本当の意味で自分で好きなキャラクターでパーティーを作ってそれで冒険してもらいたいっていうのが今回の我々のフィッツシステムの狙いになってます。
So yeah, the aim there was obviously you've got freedom to choose the characters you want, but because as seen in the previous games, each character in the party has their own predetermined combat role. So it kind of forces you down certain paths and you aren't exactly 100% free to choose. Because there'll always be some combinations that work and some that don't work as well. So the idea with the fit system is to add an extra layer of customization to that, to make sure that you can make up for the weaknesses and enhance the strength of those existing roles and then customize them so you really do have a true freedom to choose any of the characters from the party that you want. That was the core concept behind the wear system, the fit system.
早く皆さんに楽しんでもらえるのをワクワクしてます。
So I really am excited to see people get their hands on this.
Oh, I cannot wait. Now, final question, and then I'll let you guys go. You know, everyone talks about the mini games. They talk about all of the optional objectives that are in the large open world. And I gotta know, are all of these just purely for Chadley to farm additional battle data to become more powerful than Sephiroth?
一部のファンの方々がチャドリーに対してすごくメインストーリーに対して重要なキャラクターではないかっていうふうに考察していることは、私も把握してます。
No, I am very much aware of the reaction that some fans in the community had to Chadley, that thinking he's not really a particularly important character to the story. I am very much aware of that opinion.
で前作リバースだとチャドリーってサイドコンテンツの、リード役誘導役としていましたが、今作ではちょっとやっぱ彼の役割っていうのは変わっています。
So in the previous game, in Rebirth, his role as such was kind of a guide, a tutorial to lead people into all of the side content, but his role has actually changed for Revelation.
でよりメインストーリーにこう強く絡むようなシーンっていうのをやっぱ彼には用意しています。
So we do have some scenes where he plays a very integral part, a strong role in the main story itself.
それが果たしてセフィロスを超えるのかどうかは今はお答えできませんが、ぜひそれも実際にプレイして楽しんでください。
I can't tell you right now whether he does become more powerful than Sephiroth or not, but you're going to have to see it in the game, and I hope you look forward to finding out.
Well, Hamaguchi-san, Poffley-san, thank you so much for joining me. I, for one, look forward to challenging Chadley head on. And I think we're all excited to get hands-on with Final Fantasy VII Revelation when it releases for Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch 2, and PC globally in spring of next year. Thank you all so much, and there's more Gamescom Studio coming up.
The average Cinefix movie list features nearly 100 different films and approximately 25 minutes worth of wall-to-wall deep dive analysis. To simulate that pace for this 30-second ad, we're featuring 26 different films, and before you say it, no, that math does not check out. We're not math people, we're movie people. We can't even count down from 10 without ending up at, 96. Subscribe to IGN Movies and TV for more Cinefix movie lists. Bad at math, great at movies.
Can't find that final collectible you're missing? IGN strategy guides and interactive maps are here to help.
One step at a time.
IGN guides are trusted by millions, easy to use, and best of all, free. IGN has the very best, most complete and accurate guides for Shadow of the Erdtree, Baldur's Gate 3, Tears of the Kingdom, and so much more.
See? It's good, right?
Every guide is tested and verified for you by experts. Just search for IGN when you search for guides.
IGN Plus is where your adventure begins.
What are you selling?
Plus is the place to get unlimited access to all the tools you need to beat your games.
Here's what you need to know for bringing down Gloomspawn.
Plus, awesome exclusive discounts on IGN Store.
Maybe this would tease open your money pouch.
Plus, ad-free browsing on IGN.com. Plus, unlimited game help tools like premium interactive maps with your own custom map markers, filters, marker notes, and more.
This will come in handy.
Plus, access to sweepstakes, giveaways, and free game keys.
Wow!
Exactly.
Want more? Head to IGN.com/plus and start your adventure today.
IGN's coverage of Gamescom 2026 is presented by Metro 2039.
Return to Inaba and dive back into the Midnight Channel with Persona 4 Revival. Joining me to talk about the remake of my favorite Persona game of all time, it's general producer from the Persona team, Kazuhisa Wada, Persona 4 Revival art director, Akane Kabayashi, and interpreter, Gavin Green. Welcome.
皆さん来ていただき本当にありがとうございます。今日はよろしくお願いします。
よろしく。
お願いします。We're looking forward to the interview.
So, Wada-san, talk to me a little bit about the addition of new combat mechanics to Persona 4 Revival. So every single entry in the Persona, remake series has added new mechanics, and with Persona 4 Revival, we have the send flying mechanic, and we also have the perfect guard mechanic that we have going on, along with prime time. Why was Persona 4 Revival the correct entry to add these new additions to combat?
今回の戦闘システムの更新についてぜひ教えていただきたいなと思っています。ペルソナシリーズにおいては全てのタイトルでは新しい戦闘メカニクスを追加しているかと思うんですけど、今回センドフラインやガードプライムタイムとかいろいろ追加しているんですけど、今回のタイミングではなぜこのシステムを導入していたのか教えていただければと思います。
そうですね、やっぱりボコスカラッシュプライムタイムに関してはよりバトルを爽快にしていくっていうコンセプトのもと、こういったシステムを加えました。システムの内容も説明した方がいいのかな、そうですね、プライムタイムに関してはまず3つのメリットがあって、1つはですね特定の回数攻撃が連続で相手にダメージを与えられることができる。でもう1つがですね SP を消費ゼロで技を繰り出すことができる。でさらにですね耐性とか反射とかそういったものを無視して相手にダメージを与えることができるというメリットがあります。
So for this time, one of the major improvements or one of the major additions we made to the combat system is the prime time system. So with prime time, you're able to fill up this gauge that will eventually give you the ability to release a number of attacks in a row that do not cost any SP. So it gives you the chance to really just have fun and experiment and kind of release all these interesting attacks. And the other really great advantage of it is that it ignores reflect and elemental-like resistances, so it lets you go straight to the damage that you want to get.
And so, with every single remake that we've seen, these mechanics have kind of been added on and they've been implemented from, Persona 5 Royal into Persona 3 Reload and now ultimately Persona 4 Revival. Is it planned to kind of implement these in any future remakes and sequels as well?
だんだんP5 にあったメカニクスを P3R にも取り入れていて、P3R のメカニクスをある程度P4R にも取り入れたんですけど、今回やっぱりだんだん進化して次のタイトルに持っていくっていうのはこれからの方針なんでしょうか。
そうですね、やっぱりこれまでのペルソナ5ロイヤルがあって、ペルソナ3リロードがあって、ペルソナ4リバイバルっていう形でですね、どんどんバトルを進化させていきたいっていう気持ちはあります。でやっぱりユーザーが例えばペルソナ5であれば結構簡単に先制ができる、スニーキングして仮面を剥ぎ取って先制がしやすくなっている、そういったところもあるので、今回ダンジョンの中でガード機能みたいなものをつけることによって、原作では結構徘徊シャドウにだいぶ悩まされた人も多かったと思うんですけれども、ガードすることによって先制をこちらから能動的に仕掛けることができる、そういった形でどんどん進化させていきたいと考えています。
Yeah, so one of our major goals with the battle system is to evolve, just as you pointed out. From Persona 5 Royale to Persona 3 Reload to Persona 4 Revival, we wanted to take all of the elements of the battle systems that felt really good and bring them into the new game. For example, in Persona 5, we had that you kind of snuck around and you jumped on the shadows and you kind of got your first attack on them, right? So in Persona 4 Revival, we've added this system where you can guard in a very similar way to kind of get that first attack in. I think in the original Persona 4, the random shadows that were wandering around would often get the jump on you, and some players kind of had a lot of trouble with that. But Persona 5, we really improved that system, so we wanted to take those elements and bring them into Persona 4 as well.
Gotcha. Now, Kabayashi-san, how do you sort of approach refreshing character designs for a remake without kind of compromising what fans may have fallen in love with in terms of their original design, whether it be the 3D models or their portraits from the original game, from Golden to Revival?
アートに関する質問なんですが、P4 にあった元々の良さを保ちつつ P4R に新しく更新していく方針とか工夫とか、どういうふうにやっぱりそのパワーアップしていたんでしょうか。
基本的には、見た目に関してはそのまま、いくらでも新しくしていいと思ってましたね。ただ見た目はいくら新しくしてもいいんですけど、それを実際にプレイした時の手触りであったりだとか食感みたいなものに関してはもう過去作から絶対にもう離れないようにっていうことだけを基本的なルールとして制作をしていました。
So in terms of the visual design, there's pretty much anything that we could have updated. We could have just gone there and redone everything. But what we wanted to do was really preserve that kind of joy and that feeling of the original and the original kind of texture, the original sense that we had. So what we ended up doing, whether it was the character, the portraits, or it was the 3D models, we did our best to kind of preserve the original intent while still upgrading in a lot of different ways.
Now, wonderful. There's always this kind of concern anytime we see a remake or a remaster or something that it somehow invalidates what came before. I first came to the Persona series with Persona 3 FES, and then ultimately Golden went on to become one of my favorite games of all time. Now, is there ever any concern that, re-releases like Reload or remakes like Reload and Revival somehow invalidate or make the previous game not worthwhile for new fans?
いろんな方に心配されてるのは新しくリメイクをするのは以前作ってた原作はもう遊ばなくてもいいよっていうことに思っちゃう人がいらっしゃるんです。私こそP3FES で始まって P4G もだいぶ好きになったんですけど、その元のある原作もやっぱりまだ遊び応えがあるものなのか、それかこれが本当に最終版みたいな感じになっていますか？
そうですね、元の例えば今回で言うとペルソナ4ですけれども、ペルソナ4っていうもの自体がとても素晴らしいゲームだと僕も思ってますので、それ自体はそれで楽しめるとは思っています。ただ今回のペルソナ4リバイバルはそのイメージというかその魅力っていうものをしっかりと、バージョンアップしてお届けする内容になってますので、なんていうのかな、ペルソナ4っていうものの元の魅力自体はしっかりと受け継いでいるっていうのを大事にして作りました。
So I think Persona 4 is still a very valid game, and I think it has a lot of just incredible value as a game to play. But for Persona 4 Revival, when we took this, we wanted to make sure that we kept all of those sort of original elements, but at the same time we give it like a little bit of a version up. We kind of coat of paint, a new polish, to make sure that it was really an enjoyable kind of new touch on that same original that you played.
Alrighty, so a lot of the trailers we've seen have already revealed that Marie is in the game. So that begs the question, is the Hollow Forest also in the game? And if so, have there been any changes to balancing that dungeon a little bit differently? I know that previously that dungeon is a little bit more difficult and unusual in design in terms of everything else that was in Persona 4 Golden.
すでにトレーラーで見せてはいるんですけど、マリーさんが今作にも入ってますね。マリーさんのダンジョンホローフォレストも入っていますでしょうか？結構そこは難易度高めのダンジョンという印象がありまして、そこも何か工夫していたりはしていましたか？
そうですね、これはちょっと今の時点ではあまり言いたくはないんですけれども、しっかりとその辺はご期待に添えるようになっていると思ってます。
So yeah, I'm sorry, there isn't too much we can say about Hollow Forest right now, but we are putting all of our effort into making sure the experience is exactly what you guys are hoping for.
Gotcha. Now, in terms of signposting for, whenever we play these Persona games, we always want to get the true ending, the one ending where it's like, okay, I really spent all my time, I did everything correctly, and now I get the full extent of the story. Is there any sort of clearer signposting or anything like that that kind of points players into the right direction?
こういう RPG やってる時にはもう本当にトゥルーエンディングをたどりたくて、で元の作品では条件がちょっと分かりづらいところもあったかと思うんですけど、今回はより分かりやすくこれは重要な選択だよっていうようなものがあったりはしますか？
そうですね、選択の難易度自体は変わってないんですけれども、ちゃんとセーブをするべきところではセーブをしてほしい、僕らがセーブしてほしいと思っているところはセーブしてもらった上で、ちゃんとやり直しができるようにやりやすいようにはなっていると思ってます。
Yeah, so the difficulty of the choices and the struggles that you have are all kind of similar to the original game. However, we did make sure to add additional hints that, hey, this might be an important thing. You might want to save here and keep things, keep this for later.
Thank you very much for that. Now, last question before we go, and this is for all three of you. This is quite possibly the most important question I've ever asked. Out of all of the characters in Persona 4 Revival, which social link is your favorite romance option?
これ最後の質問ですけど、一番この人生の中で一番重要な質問なんですけど、3人も今回の P4R で恋愛として一番やっぱり素敵だと思ってる方は誰でしょう？
キャラクター？
キャラクター。
僕はですね、やっぱり知恵ですかね。
So yeah, I'd have to say in the end it has to be Chie.
A man of taste.
センスありますね。
小林さん？
私は、恋愛をするのであれば理性ですかね。やっぱアイドルと恋愛したいですね。
If I had to choose somebody for romance specifically, it would have to be probably Rise because she's an idol, right? She's the idol of our hearts.
You love the pop star. And?
That's tough. I do love Chie, but I think I might have to go with Mari. She's just got like this really, it's that sort of like amazingly kind of like nerdy kind of, the poems really just get,
a little mysterious, a little bit. Yeah, no, I get it. Well, thank you all so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
皆さん本当に今日お越しいただきありがとうございます。
ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。
Thank you guys.
Persona 4 Revival hits Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, and PC February 18th, 2027. We've got more Gamescom Studio coming up. Don't go anywhere.
Hello and welcome back to the Spotlight stage here at Gamescom 2026. I'm Jane and I'm joined here from Iceflake Studios. It's Joanna and Lasse here to talk about Lego Skylines. Folks, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having us. Pleasure to be here.
Now, it's a Lego game. It is a city builder game, and specifically, it is a city skylines kind of game. I think people are going to have been maybe a little surprised by this game. How did it come about? Like, what was the inspiration, the vision for like a Lego city builder? Where did that come from for you?
Well, building a Lego city builder, that's kind of a natural match when you think about it. Like in both with Lego sets and Lego bricks and in City Skylines, you solve challenges and problems by building something. So this was kind of a long-term discussion when we met for the first time and like started discussing like this is a natural fit, and we really are fans of Legos since our childhood and wanted to bring that passion that we still have with us as an adults and our expertise with city builders together, and there it just started.
I think I can just say from myself that I think this is just a dream project. Like Lasse mentioned, we are fans of the brick already. So I still remember the time when I heard that we're actually doing this, and I just essentially woohooed very loudly because it was such a cool thing that we get to do this game.
Now tell me, who is the game for? Being a Lego game, is it targeted like at a younger audience or a more casual audience, or is it as deep a simulation as like a previous Skylines game?
So Lego Skyline is first and foremost a game meant for adult audiences. I would actually kind of envision it when you think about like Lego products. They have the black boxes, which are meant for like 18 plus essentially, but that's actually the complexity, not actual an age restriction on the sets. So I think that's a really good way of thinking about Lego Skylines. It is complex. It is for those people who really enjoy city builders and the management aspect, but it's also a family-friendly game. So if you want to play it, on the couch with your child, 100% please do that. Let them enjoy the whimsical world of Lego, but then at the same time, just enjoy the challenge that it brings as well.
I would also say that the challenge is maybe in different places than you see that in being in City Skylines. Like for instance, like City Skylines, you really focus on traffic and traffic management. In Lego Skylines, you focus on many other aspects as well, like traffic's being only one of them, like beauty, appeal, communication, leisure, and other features that we have. Like they have a lot of depth, and the focus can be either on customization, visual side of things, or min-maxing the systems.
Let's talk about the actual building. Like, how granular is the building? Like, are we doing brick by brick, or is it modular? Am I placing a whole building? What are we doing?
Yeah, so in this game, like, it's not brick by brick building. Like, you are building a city. Like, and that was one of the main challenges with this project, actually, like, find the right balance between, like, building something brick by brick or building a city as a whole. And I think we have a perfect balance right now, where you really focus on building personal stuff, one building at a time, and you gradually start from first building one building, meeting the demands of that household, and then growing slowly and using a bigger brush at the late game, and then moving to bigger challenges. But you can always go back and talk to little people living in the city and focus on their worries and needs, basically. So it really like stays there up until the end, even if the challenges change their form when you play it.
And as Lusty mentioned before, personalization, that's like number one thing for us, for sure, with this game. So there are a lot of like decorations and assets that you can use. So even though, you know, you are building building by building, you still get to choose from a variety of like assets. So our amazing art department has been working so hard on this game. I'm myself so proud of the work they've been doing. It's just amazing. So a lot of variety. I hope people will be excited about it.
Do you have a lot of Lego in the studio for like inspiration? Is it lying around everywhere at Iceflake HQ?
Yes, we do.
Good.
We have Legos at our homes, we have Legos at the studio, and that's actually fun with this project, that a lot of the features and mechanics, we design them in real life first, like thinking of what's fun in real life, and then transition that into digital form in the game. And if it works in real life, it's usually fun also in the game.
So essentially, take an existing Lego set that we already have at the office and just think about like, okay, now it has this super cute, maybe like a hot dog stand. What if I would essentially just use another kind of food stand from this set and put it here? How does it look like? So that's essentially what you would do in real life, but now you get to do it in Lego Skylines as well.
Okay, so like full like Lego mix and matching, like from your kind of like toy set, that kind of thing.
A little bit maybe,
a little
I would say, yeah.
Okay, the vibes, it feels like it's going to have a very different vibe from like a City Skylines games. For people who play City Skylines, how familiar do you think it's going to feel to like mechanically, gameplay wise? It's going to be pretty different.
They both share the same common ground. They are both city builders and they are both rooted to modern cities. So you have your typical electricity, sewage, water and police, healthcare and such. But as we mentioned, like there's a lot of focus on personality and like making the city look beautiful. And like it's your decision how you want to do that. Or if you want to focus on the effectiveness of the city, like the progression is dependent on XP that you gain when you play the game, and you can gain that XP by decorating the city or making it more efficient. So it's really up to you how you want to solve those challenges.
Oh, interesting.
I think it's like in its core, it is still it's Lego Skylines. So we want to make sure that the players who are familiar with City Skylines feel at home as well. So a lot of similar features that they are used to, but just maybe a little bit of like a new take on it, essentially. Just bringing the Lego DNA into it.
And I would add that our goal is to make this the most accessible city builder, so you don't have to be knowledgeable about like City Skylines. If you haven't played city builders before, this is the perfect game to just hop in and start playing. This is a game for you.
Okay, but if you have played them, the infrastructure is still there, you're still making roads and like you say, electricity, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I think for a lot of Lego fans, like the various Lego, kind of labels like Ninjago and like Lego Friends and like Lego Architecture, the fancy architecture sets, they're really key. They're really important. Like, are you bringing that to Lego Skylines? Am I going to be like building, recognizable sets from the real world?
Well, this is something we're not really sharing too much of at this moment, sorry. But what I can say already is for those who have, for example, watched the trailer, there may be something that you might recognize already there.
Well, I think I saw some Lego Duplo. I think we're going to be building with Lego Duplo, and you're not going to confirm that, but I think if we were to look at the artwork, we can maybe see some of that.
The opportunities are quite limitless.
Yeah.
I'm imagining them, and I will have to wait to find out more about them, but I am imagining them. The city that you're going to build, it sounds like it's kind of what you want to make of it, but you could build like quite a realistic, fully functioning city that just happens to be Lego. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes, it's that, but it's also something that you can't do in real life. In this game, you build that from Lego bricks, but it also comes to life. That's something very unique.
Yes.
And you solve those problems by building something using Lego bricks. You solve the challenges and you see that city being alive, and you meet the people and talk to them and listen to their worries. Like, that's a unique combination that no one has done before.
Yeah, tell me about those little Lego citizens. Are you simulating them fully, like citizens from the previous games?
Yes, they are. They are their own minifigs.
They are individually simulated, and the principles are pretty much the same as in City Skylines. And but the mechanics around them, how the simulation works, that's a little bit different. But like the principle, it shares the same foundation, even if it is its own game and its own take on the city building.
And they're going to be going about their little Lego lives in Lego Skylines.
100%. Yes.
Okay, one more question because we're fast running out of time. The disasters in Lego Skylines, are there any like Lego specific disasters? I can see a fire. There is some fire in the kind of artwork that you've released. Are there any like Lego specific disasters you can talk about? Are there any disasters at all?
I think we can kind of say that the disasters themselves that you see, like the fire, for example, they are maybe something familiar, but we really try to kind of put a unique spin on the visuals, for example. Yes. So there's like maybe a little bit of that Lego humor in them. At least that's very much our goal.
Yeah, this is really a unique game in that sense as well. Like even if it's starting from the same starting point as the other games, like you can have a fire, but there's really no limits what we can do in this environment. Like you can do whatever. Like even the fires don't need to be the same fires you meet in City Skylines. There can be some twist to them, as Joanna mentioned. So it's like a really unique opportunity to like experiment a little bit and have fun with the topics, even if like it's involving like these more serious sides of the city management.
All right, well, fantastic. I can't wait. Joanna, Lasse, thank you so much for your time. Everyone, keep an eye out on Lego Skylines and keep an eye out for more from Gamescom 2026.
Do you want to be the very best like no one ever was? Streamline your journey to becoming a master trainer with Planet Pokemon. Choose your Pokemon, filtering by type, stats, or game availability. Then use the full team builder to assemble an unbeatable lineup. Plan out the optimal set of moves, items, and abilities. Plan your dream team today at planetpokemon.com.
Catch up on all your favorite shows with up-to-the-minute gaming and entertainment news with Geek Media Podcasts.
Welcome to a very special episode of IGN GameScoop.
GameScoop has you covered for all things gaming and the latest game releases. Tune into Podcast Beyond for the biggest PlayStation news.
Man, this is a cool-looking trailer.
Everything Xbox on Podcasts Unlocked.
This is Steve Downs, the voice of Master Chief.
Catch up with your Super Nintendos on Nintendo Voice Chat.
Let the kids love what we love.
And get all the latest console news and rumors with Next Gen Console Watch.
Now Xbox and Phil Spencer are even saying that a mid-gen refresh isn't even necessary.
The Cinefix Top 100 podcast picks a movie every week to celebrate and debate.
It's kind of every movie's grandpa.
Geek Media Podcasts, the best podcasts from around the world.
Find that final collectible you're missing? IGN strategy guides and interactive maps are here to help.
One step at a time.
IGN guides are trusted by millions, easy to use, and best of all, free. You can even track your progress with interactive checklists so you know you reached that 100% completion.
I will not suffer.
IGN has the very best, most complete and accurate guides for Shadow of the Erdtree, Baldur's Gate 3, Tears of the Kingdom, and so much more. Just search for IGN when you search for guides.
After 30 years, Quintet's beloved action RPG Terranigma is finally getting a remaster and finally getting a North American release. Here to tell me all about it is Senior Advisor from Clear River Games, Martin Lindell. Martin, welcome.
Thank you very much.
So, again, for those uninitiated, what is Terranigma and why does it always seem to be included in a list of RPGs that you've never heard of that you need to play?
Yeah, it's a great game. It was released like in the mid-90s, action RPG, like it all said. So it's very agile, flexible, dynamic system. Very fun combat, but I think leaves a leaving mark on people is the emotional journey in the game. And it is a bit odd because it was released only in Japan, Europe and Australia. Me growing up in Stockholm in Sweden, usually it was the other way around.
Yeah.
All the great RPGs, they came to North America, but seldom to Europe.
Mm-hmm. For lack of a better way of asking it, why has it taken it so long for us to get Terranigma released in North America, and for that matter, taken so long to get a remaster?
That's a good question. Well, I mean, for me, I love the game. I think it was a masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to look at the game, what makes it unique, how does it hold up today, and it's a really great game. And with that, we went to Square Enix and basically pitched and said, this is a great title, we should resurface it.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to license it and start to work on it. And well, we kept it as intact as possible, so it's more of a original release with enhancements.
Gotcha. So let's talk a little bit about those enhancements. So what exactly can people look forward to with this sort of re-release of Terranigma? What sorts of changes have you and your team made, and what was adamant that you were like, this needs to stay the same?
The game is just great looking.
Mm-hmm.
It's pixel graphics at its pinnacle.
Gorgeous.
It got an amazing soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
It plays very well. But the one thing we noticed is due to the controller, you had limited buttons. So the item usage was a bit clunky. You had to go into like jump, literally the character jumps into a box, and there you can select magic and items. So we added a quick menu where you can scroll through the items and directly use like healing items or anti-poison or other key items in the game. And that goes for magic as well. So instead of jumping into the box, you can quick select the magic and right away do the fire spells, the blazing spells, and all those cool things.
And what about like balance in terms of game difficulty and things like that? I know that there is this sort of like within the fandom of Terranigma, there is people who are like, yeah, it can be a little bit tricky sometimes in terms of how the difficulty spikes in the game. Is that all intact? Have you made any adjustments?
Well, we're gonna talk a bit more about additional features and balancing a bit later.
Mm-hmm.
I would say I think it's quite steady progression, but there is a tough boss that I think is legendary. It's Bloody Mary.
Mm-hmm.
Very difficult. That's usually when a lot of players hit a wall. We might have more news about that later, but when you play the original game, it is as it was, but we do also have an enhanced version that will have some changes.
Okay, well, you heard it here. We look forward to some more news about some potential changes coming to Terranigma. Now, one of my favorite stories about the game is that Yuzo Koshiro famously, he forgot that he contributed a piece of music to the game soundtrack. Is that music still in the game? Have you worked with him, or have you worked with the game's original composer in any way, shape, or form?
So there might be more about that later, but in its current state, the soundtrack is intact, and it's a really amazing soundtrack. It goes from very melancholic atmospheric pieces to more intense when you have the boss fight. So it's a very diverse soundtrack that really brings you along on a journey.
Gotcha. Now, I'm not trying to scoop you or anything, so I'm just curious. Usually when we get re-releases like this, remasters, things of that nature, we are kind of afforded the ability to maybe toggle between original graphics and new graphics, toggle different soundtracks. Is there anything like that we can look forward to again? Is there a rearrangement of the music in any way, shape, or form?
Well, not like I can say today. Well, there is like what we're showing right now is that this is of course the CRT filter if you want that really 90s feeling.
Yeah.
What we showed now is the new key art. So Kamui Fujiwara-san, the original artist that did the character designs, so he created a new key art for this release to commemorate the anniversary.
Yeah, and not to get too much on a tangent here, but one thing that, for fans of the Terranigma community, Fujiwara-san's art does feature our main character, whose name is Ark, by the way, with blue hair. How did you and your team approach the blue hair versus the brown reddish hair?
Yeah, I know that Fujiwara-san, he talked about the blue hair, that was part of what he wanted to do, but for this release, it's sort of the original intact, so it's the brown hair.
Have you ever considered potentially altering it, or for you, this was very much, I need to preserve the game as I experienced it?
Yeah, for now, but it's interesting to see because Fujiwara made new artworks with the blue hair as well. But the key art for the game that he created, the new one, is with brown hair.
Talk to me a little bit more about some of the kind of visual updates to the game that, you mentioned the CRT filter. What kind of pixel scaling is in the game? What kind of CRT filter? Is there anything in particular about the CRT scanline effect that you were going for?
I don't know the technical details, to be honest, but it gives that a bit fuzzy feeling. Back in the days when they did pixel graphics, today you have a romantic view that is very sharp and very
hard and defined pixels.
Yeah,
and lines.
That's what you see in modern retro games or like developed today that have that aesthetic. But back then you actually created the art with the CRT TV in mind, that it's not perfect sharp edges. It gives you that a bit of rounded feelings. You have techniques to actually make it look different when it's actually shown on the TV.
Yeah, something more akin to like anisotropic filtering, or I always forget how to say it, but basically it blurs it in a way so that it's very circular and more natural looking.
Yeah,
right? Whenever we see these re-releases, I assume that this is I got to get hands-on with the game demo that you had playable to the public here at Gamescom. The presentation of the game was in 4:3. Is there any plans to do any sort of widescreen, or do you want to just maintain that 4:3 aspect?
Yeah,
ratio?
we want to maintain that. It is the intention is to resurface and preserve the game. That's just to get it back here now. It's been like a big effort.
Yeah.
So what the future holds, who knows?
Gotcha. And, for anyone who's watching this, you're all probably just as much into retro games as myself. So you're probably rocking an OLED TV to play these beautiful games on. So I got to know, I noticed during my time with the demo that there are kind of borders that are on the left and right sides of frames, and you can cycle through various artworks.
Yep.
Some beautiful artwork, by the way, that you can have access to. But because people are worried about burn-in, can you turn those off?
Yes, you can have black as well. Yeah.
Ooh, I love to hear it. Now, I know you probably can't reveal too much, but it wouldn't be IGN if I didn't ask. So we all know Terranigma, or actually you may not know, because again, this is an obscure game that never really came out in North America, but it is a part of an unofficial kind of spiritual trilogy. In America, we did get the first game in the series, Soul Blazer, and then there of course comes Illusion of Gaia and then Terranigma. Was there ever any consideration of doing some sort of trilogy collection? Is it, talk to me about the decision to do a standalone release of something like Terranigma.
Well, I think I never thought of it that. We looked at purely Terranigma from a personal view, but we loved the game so much. So that was it pitched. Who knows what happens in the future? If this goes well, maybe there is interest for more, but yeah.
You heard it here first. You got to support Terranigma so we get more remasters and ports. Please, please, please. So, I know we're running out of time a little bit here, but I just want to kind of dive more into what makes Terranigma so special. Would you mind diving into just a top-line overview of what the game is about and how it plays for those who may not, because we're going to have footage covering this entire interview, so you'll probably figure it out from there. But for those who might be listening.
Yeah, it's the Japanese title is Tensei Shouso, which means the creation of heaven and earth. Then there is a certain duality to the game. When you start the game, you're in a village, and unintentionally, this rascal you play is like a good-hearted rascal called Ark. He opens a door that's forbidden, and everybody in the village suddenly freezes. And this sets you off of a journey to actually explore and trying to unfreeze all your friends and family. And when you step out of a village, it's very weird because the world is spherical, very dark. And as you start to conquer towers, you actually reawakens the earth. So you resurrect continent by continent. And you realize here you get a greater task. You need to go to the overworld, and that sets you up on an amazing journey where you see progression of the world, development, time passes on, and your consequences are reflected in the world. So you can actually also, depending on how you play and the decisions you make, cities might grow, you might meet historical characters. There's people like Henry Matisse, the painter, character inspired by him, the Swedish explorer Hedin, I think even Bell, play on Alexander Graham Bell, who invented the phone. So there's a lot of interesting characters to meet, and through these journeys, you see different destinies, and it's not always, I mean, it's a lot of love stories, but it's kind of tragic sometimes as well. So it leaves you with a very emotional impact.
I love to hear it. Martin, thank you so much for joining me. Before we go, I gotta ask, when can we expect Terranigma's release?
Early 2027.
Early 2027. You heard it here first. Actually, second. You announced it at a presentation earlier this week. But regardless, I cannot wait to get my hands on Terranigma and platforms that people can play it on.
Yeah, PC, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox.
I'm very excited for people to experience this game for the first time, so we love retro games here at IGN, and the world needs more of them. But I think that's all the time we have left, Martin, so we've got even more IGN Gamescom Studio coming up next.
IGN Store has everything you need to level up your life.
Red 6 standing by.
Refresh your wardrobe with official gear you won't find anywhere else. From Fallout, Expedition 33, Romeo's a Dead Man, and more. Treat yourself to the coolest collectibles like an adorable SKA plush, your very own Assassin's Creed Hidden Blade, and a fully functional Pip-Boy 3000. Or kick back and relax to your favorite video game soundtracks on vinyl. Whatever you need, IGN Store has you covered. Head to store.ign.com and start shopping today.
Can't find that final collectible you're missing? IGN strategy guides and interactive maps are here to help.
One step at a time.
IGN guides are trusted by millions, easy to use, and best of all, free. IGN has the very best, most complete and accurate guides for Shadow of the Erdtree, Baldur's Gate 3, Tears of the Kingdom, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Zombies, and so much more.
See? It's good, right?
Every guide is tested and verified for you by experts. Just search for IGN when you search for guides.
Do you want to be the very best like no one ever was? Streamline your journey to becoming a master trainer with Planet Pokemon. Choose your Pokemon, filtering by type, stats, or game availability. Then use the full team builder to assemble an unbeatable lineup. Plan out the optimal set of moves, items, and abilities. Play to your strengths by analyzing your team's resistances and offensive coverage. Or really maximize your Poke potential by digging into the stats by adjusting EVs and IVs. And save multiple team builds for different strategies in different games. Plan your dream team today at planetpokemon.com.
Welcome to the biggest gaming playground in the world, where 500,000 people come together to play, connect, and celebrate across Cologne. 1,600 exhibitors. The biggest names in the gaming industry, bringing countless games for you to explore and dominate. Get set for Gamescom's unique indie area, where you're in control of the most creative and unique projects from more than 400 indie studios. And if that's not enough, don't miss Gamescom Awesome Indie Show, our show produced by IGN featuring the hottest new titles from the indie universe. Or become the hero yourself and step into the Gamescom cosplay contest, bringing cosplayers and fans together from around the globe for an unforgettable community experience. Can't make it to Gamescom in person? Visit our website, gamescom.global, and experience all program highlights via our content hub, Gamescom Now. The experts at IGN are gearing up to bring you full days of live streams straight to Twitch and YouTube. Oh, hey, Epi! Crashing the party? Jump into Gamescom Epics on our website and claim your loot. Next up, Gamescom Cares, our initiative for a safer, more sustainable, and inclusive Gamescom. Speaking of inclusive, the Gamescom City Festival is taking over the city with live music for free and all kinds of fun. Gamescom is more than a single event, it's a global family. With Gamescom Dev, Gamescom LAN, Gamescom Asia, and Gamescom LATAM, we're unlocking dynamic experiences and connecting gamers worldwide. Welcome to the heart of gaming. Welcome to Gamescom.
You're watching IGN's live coverage of Gamescom, the biggest and coolest games convention in the world. Coming up in just a sec, we have a look at Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, Stranger Than Heaven, and Ananta. But first, let's go back to World War II with the Defiant. Check it out.
You're watching Gamescom Studio here at IGN. The Defiant is the gritty new shooter that shows a whole new side of World War II. Here to tell me all about it, Yu Heng Kong. Welcome.
你好.
Thank you for coming. So, the World War II game genre is basically a thing we've seen a lot of, but this is telling a whole new side of things. Tell me about the setting specifically for the Defiant.
我们已经有非常多的关于二战题材的这种射击游戏，你能告诉一下我们就是整个我们这个游戏的一个设置吗？
首先我们在去设计这款游戏的时候，其实选取了第一人称射击这样一个非常成熟的游戏类型。您刚刚也提到，我们已经有很多关于讲述二战游戏的成功的作品，但是其实并没有一款作品是专门讲述中国战场在二战所发挥的作用，或者说讲述中国人在二战时的英雄故事的这样的一个游戏。所以说，这是我们现在想要做的一件事情。
As you just mentioned, there's a lot of FPS game. in this industry. A lot of them come from the Western countries, but there's not even single one telling the Chinese battlefield in the Second World War. So this is also our first time to make this innovation from a Chinese perspective to represent our global audience. What has happened in China's battlefield in the Second World War.
How important is historical accuracy to you in terms of recreating specific, moments and events from real life and translating them into a mission?
对于这个历史的还原性的话，以及它的历史真实性，就是咱们这个游戏，您怎么来看待呢？
首先，其实我们在讲述或者说在讲述我们自己的故事的时候，我们是会去选取一些历史上真实发生过的著名的战役，或者是一些战史，以及真实存在的一些英雄，但是我们并不会让玩家直接去扮演他们，而是通过其他的一些方式让玩家参与到整个历史里面，他们可能去看到这些人的身影，来去通过一个小人物的视角去看到这样的一个宏大的历史里面曾经发生过什么样的英雄事迹。
First, our game is basically based on the true event and true history in the world, in history, and we also learn a lot from the history, what has really happened in history during the Second World War. But the characters we design, we want to use the real character in history. We just wanted our audience participate in this game and to really participate in the real Chinese battlefield back then. Yeah.
The team visited real-life locations for inspiration and took photography and stuff like that to bring some of those elements into the game world. What was that like?
首先就是我们刚才也提到，我们会去找寻很多真实发生过的战斗，然后我们会去到这个战斗曾经发生过的地方，然后再去拍摄很多环境的照片。并且寻找当年的一些历史资料和当年的一些历史的照片，对它回到我们的工作室里，对它进行复原，并且通过我们自己对它的一些艺术加工，让它展现出我们现在的想象中它当年的那种样子。
So first, we will went to the battlefield, the realistic location, and to do the research and take some picture and the video. And we will also bring them back to our studio and analyze them. And based on that original documents and the pictures and the videos or materials, and we will also make some innovations, from our perspective way to present the Sims, the battlefield in our game.
We see a lot of shooting in the game, obviously, but there's so much more to it than that. There's also stealth and sneaking around. Can you talk to us about the different types of gameplay outside of just the shooting?
就是我们已经看到了，我们这个游戏有很多的射击场面，然后我们能不能再讲述一下还有其他的一些除了射击之外的类型呢？
我们会有就是偏向于跟潜行或解谜相关的内容，而且还有一些只属于我们整个中国战场的一些战斗方式，包括一些载具类型，就是 vehicle。
So you just also mentioned beside the shooting itself, we also present other kind of types of battle. For example, we also use espionage and stealth in our games. Yeah.
The weapons all feel like they have a really good weight to them. There's sort of like a heaviness to.
我们游戏当中能看到，感觉这些武器都很沉重、很重，感觉非常不太容易，就是去拿。然后呢，我们想知道就是关于这个武器的，就是is a tale. I'm sorry, your question is like the weapons.
Yeah.
Okay. 然后想让您稍微介绍一下咱们的这个武器。
OK，其实对于我们来讲的话，我们讲述的是一段80多年前的历史，那个时候的武器，它应该有的重量是什么样子？其实我们都有做过非常详细的研究，包括它的操作方式，并且这些在我们工作中有我们的枪械师，他们也是对武器非常了解的。我们希望能够还原出当年这种类型的武器的真实的重量感，然后把这种感受带给我们的玩家。这也是我们这个产品所要表现出来的一些枪械的手感，跟其他市面上同类型的产品的一些区别。
So first of all, we just want to represent what the real weapons feel like back then, 80 years ago. So we also want to present the real way how it feels like. So we in our studio we have a lot of gun experts. They also do some research and to try our best to represent the weapons gunplay at that time. Yeah.
Cool. Outside of action, you're also trying to show the sort of emotional side of what it's like for a soldier to go through this. Tell us a little bit about that, about the story and the impact of war on the soldiers in this game.
就除了咱们看到，就除了武器之外，然后还有一些就是除了这种打仗之外，还有一些情感，就是想让您讲述一下在士兵的情感传递里边的这个故事，在咱们的游戏里面的一个呈现。
其实我们的游戏分为很多不同的章节，然后我们的每一个章节里面会讲述一个非常有特色的一支队伍，这些队伍的不同成员之间，他们会有不同的情感连接，就包括这些很重要的 NPC 的角色跟我们的玩家所扮演的主角之间的一些互动。其实我们想要传递的就是一种不同类型的这些队伍在不同环境下的作战情境，带给让他们之间所产生的不同的这种就是情感的这种感受。它包含很多，它包含像是这个兄弟的之间的情感，甚至于说这个父辈之间的情感，以及战友之间的这种情感，和所谓的由信仰所达成的这种情感连接。
So in our game, we have different chapters. So we also have a lot different troops in our game. So the different our members in different troops, we have this kind of connection. So this connection brings them together, and it will also represent in our game that showing us this kind of brotherhood. And also other feeling like parents to children, a father to sons, and also this we will also deliver kind of that which is like a belief bring our troops and our soldiers together.
Cool. When can people play the Defiant?
就是咱们什么时候可以玩这个？
具体的发售日期我们可能会在明年的相对合适的时间对外放出。
So the exact date we will publish in next year to public.
Great. I can't wait. Thank you so much for coming, and I can't wait to play the Defiant. Go wishlist the Defiant on Steam right now until that release date gets here. We've got so much more Gamescom Studio coming up on IGN, so don't go anywhere.
Thank you.
Hello and welcome back to the Spotlight stage. I'm Jane and I'm joined by Jack Hoppus, Technical Director for Infinity Ward, here to talk about Modern Warfare 4. Hi Jack, thanks for joining us.
How's it going? Happy to be here. It's awesome.
It's going real good. Now, we're going to talk about multiplayer specifically.
Yep.
What was the vision going into Modern Warfare 4? Like, what were you thinking? What was the top line stuff that you wanted to achieve?
The baseline vision for Modern Warfare 4 multiplayer was really to put you behind the seat of your favorite operator, right? And with that comes a movement system that should feel fluid, dynamic, like you're never stuck in an animation. We never want the game to tell you that you can't do something. Like, for example, with our movement, we innovated on mantle this time around. So mantling in the past used to kind of feel like this lumbering animation that you were stuck in. And we found that players really just wanted to be back in the action. So we gave them back that power by letting them cancel out of mantle into a slide, mantle into ADS, and have all of these fluid movement options to never make you feel like you can't do anything. That philosophy permeates through our weapons as well. We want your weapons to feel powerful. We make a first-person shooter game, so the gun, we like to say it a lot of the time, is the hero of our game. So it's really important that the guns feel heavy and powerful to shoot, but never compromising on, gameplay. We want them to feel responsive, snappy, like every shot feels powerful, but also really satisfying. And we've got a lot of other fun stuff in multiplayer. We've got Kill Block, we've got Ground War, we've got a whole host of other suites of improvements that I'd love to get into as well.
Now, you've had the beta up and running,
Yep.
obviously. What's been the biggest takeaway so far?
Yeah, it's been incredible having the beta live so far, right? We had early access weekend last weekend, we've got the open beta this weekend, and it's great for us to hear the feedback from the community and really action on that. It's been our biggest touch point with the community so far, and it's been incredible to hear, what players love, what they're really gravitating towards, but also what points of frictions are for them, about things that we could be doing better, about improvements that we could have, not only for the next weekend of the beta, for open weekend, but also up until launch. Really being there with the community, listening to them, leaning into what they love, and fixing what needs improvement. So it's been a great learning opportunity for us.
What's had the most positive reaction in the beta?
Yeah, players love Kill Block, which we're super stoked on. It's a big point of passion at the studio. It's incredible. During COD Next, someone got the nuke, which was a lovely surprise. Players are really diving deep into the mobility course as well, challenging each other for their best times. And for the first time ever, we're letting players get a look at the campaign and Resurgence in the second weekend of the beta. So we're super excited to welcome Warzone players into this and let them, give us their feedback on how it's feeling. So we're super stoked on it.
Just briefly, since you mentioned Kill Block, for the folks at home maybe who haven't clocked that, what is Kill Block? Because it looks pretty fun.
It's awesome. Kill Block is our first dynamic multiplayer map. We had this question at the start of the project: what if we made a living map? We've made a lot of maps throughout the years, but we've never truly made a map that changes. And Kill Block is comprised of these 3 slabs. You've got 2 end slabs and 1 middle slab that can be slotted in and out to create over 500 unique combinations. And it really shines in the beta and gunfight, because every 2 rounds, whenever your guns change, the map is going to change as well. So you're always getting these new, fun, unexpected sight lines. We love to play it at the studio. It gets competitive, it gets fun, and we're still finding internally these cool, unique combinations where sometimes the stars will just align and you get these crazy combos that make you switch up the way you play a map. So it's always fresh, it's always something new, and it's always something we're really excited about.
I kind of like how map memorization is not going to serve you in Kill Block.
Yeah.
It's like pure instinct, pure in the moment.
Yeah, and it's fun too because you really gravitate towards some of these slabs.
Right.
You'll see, classic Modern Warfare favorites return: Crash, Shoot House, High Rise. But you also get these slabs that you really gravitate towards because you'll see I'm getting, our loading is my end slab, and I can get up on this shipping container and snipe down the middle. Or, for me, I love warehouses because it's kind of this close quarters combat interiors where you can really master where these sight lines are. So it's been fun seeing not only people at our studio, but the players really gravitate towards some configurations.
So you might be like, that's my favorite slab, I'm heading straight there.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. Now, a quick time to kill, time to encounter, fast engagements, that feels like it's really prominent at the moment.
Yep.
Is that intentional or something that you kind of want to adjust ahead of launch?
Yeah, so time to kill depends on a variety of factors, right? It depends on weapon balancing, movement, map sizes, engagement ranges, headshot percentage as well. But we've heard from the community that it's a little bit too fast right now. So we have a huge amount of changes that are going into Beta Weekend 2 from our learnings from Beta Weekend 1. It's going to play quite differently, so we're looking for community feedback and looking to see where we land with that. We'll have a bunch more details soon, but it's definitely a point of feedback for Time to Kill that we've heard from the community, that including spawns, we're really looking to iron down, and it's been great to get that feedback and listen to the community and really make changes based off of that.
Nice. Can you speak to those any more of those changes, or a little bit in the weeds?
Specifics are still coming for the second weekend, but I think that as soon as players get their hands on it, they're going to feel the difference.
All right. What are you most excited for players to try out that's not in the beta?
That's not in the beta? Oh, I mean, the entire campaign, right? The mission that we chose to show off in the beta is really representative of the tone and the characters and the story that we're trying to tell. But the entire campaign is something different, right? You're going to follow this cast of new characters. You're going to see from the grunt perspective. Task Force 141 is, of course, going to make a return. The campaign is insane. It's going to be super exciting. And DMZ. DMZ is huge this time around. You know, we really looked at what players loved from the original DMZ beta back in Modern Warfare 2, and we leaned into that. We also have a huge amount of more content, more things to experience, more ways to play that I would love to get into now, but we don't have the time.
We have very limited time.
Yeah, right?
But it is cool that for the first time, there is a campaign mission in the beta.
Yeah, we found that it was a great way to show the players the tone and the story and the characters that we're really looking to build, and we're super excited that campaign players also got a chance to play in the beta.
100%. Now, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 and Call of Duty at large is obviously like a franchise with like dedicated players that love to like tweak their loadouts and get like super into the metas.
Yep.
But also, you know, it has a broad appeal.
Yeah.
Is it the hardest job in gaming to like marry those two things? How do you do it?
I mean, whenever we design anything and whenever we're making a game, we're thinking about all types of players, right? We're thinking about the players that play Call of Duty every day, have never skipped a title, are longtime series veterans, but we're also thinking of players that maybe skipped some entries, maybe, you know, haven't played Call of Duty in 10 years. So how do we build a game that supports new players, but also gives experienced veteran players something to dive deep into? And that's kind of the guise in which we design everything in this game, through our movement, through our weapon mechanics, through, you know, our maps and our modes. About, if I'm a new player, is it easy to understand at a moment's glance? But for an advanced player, is there this depth of knowledge that I can achieve? Is there this mastery of movement, this mastery of weapon mechanics, this mastery of modes and collaboration and teamwork in modes that we have, like Hijack, which is kind of our new competitive style mode, that you can really coordinate with your team and really pull off some insane plays.
Can you speak a little more on Hijack?
Yeah, so Hijack is a mode that was built with a competitive focus in mind. You are transporting this data spike that's in the map, and you're trying to plant it on the enemy comm station. And you can wield the spike in your lethal equipment spot when you're holding it, and you can actually throw it up onto the comms tower to gain points for your team, or you can walk it in as well. And it's kind of this attack and defense style tug of war mode where you're working together with your team to push into enemy territory, plant this on their base, and hold it before they can defuse it, gaining points for your team.
All right, nice. Now, as a technical designer,
Yep.
what are the elements that you're really proud of that you've worked on that perhaps people don't notice?
A huge amount of work was put into Kill Block. It's a vision we had early on in the project, but it's been incredible to work alongside design, engineering, rendering, lighting. I don't think there's a single person at the studio that hasn't worked on Kill Block, and it's been great to have that vision early on in the project and see it fully realized up at launch, and we'll continue to iterate on it through post-launch with more content as well. So that is a feat of engineering, feat of design. It's major props to all the teams at Infinity Ward for making this come to life.
Interesting. So like Kill Block is like a big bet for Modern Warfare 4. It's not just like a little sideshow kind of gimmick.
No, it's not. It's we put a huge amount of time into it, so it's great to see it fully realized. And you know, in the beta and at launch, we've been playing it at gunfight because we've seen that it really shines because of the fast map rotations every 2 rounds. But from the get-go, we've been playing this with team deathmatch, search and destroy, domination, hardpoint in mind, and it's been playing great on those modes. So we're excited to support those modes through launch.
And just for anyone who's curious, like kind of how big is a kill block map?
Kill block is around the size of Shoot House, if you're familiar with the map Shoot House.
I like in the fiction, I really like that Kill Block has like a kind of in-world, in-fiction like premise.
100%.
That you've got like, you know, like the Super Bowl halftime show where they like bring stuff out of the ground. It's kind of like that with like cranes around a training ground or something like that.
So you're completely right. Kill Block was built as this live fire training facility where the best of the best are coming to practice and train, and it's built in this real grounded setting, and you could see little details like we've got some snow machines on the side of some of our slabs that will blow snow into the levels, and it's really sick.
That's really fun. I like that because you could have done it like, oh, it's, you know, it's a virtual simulation or something, but it's actually like a real kind of Hunger Games set.
Yeah, everything that we build with the vision of having it be grounded, a real life setting, and really bring it to life for the players.
Okay, we're fast running out of time, but one more question before we go. The Modern Warfare 4 open beta starts this weekend. What are your expectations?
We're looking for more feedback. We're looking for, you know, feedback on Resurgence, feedback on our new modes. We're really leaning in to what the players are loving, and we're going to be playing right alongside with you. We're super excited with where we're at. We've got, you know, a bunch of new stuff for players to try out, and we can't wait to hear what you think so we can continue iterating on it up until launch to make the best Modern Warfare game we've ever made.
Awesome, Jax, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, and that's it on Modern Warfare 4 for now on the Gamescom stage. We'll see you for more next time.
You are watching Gamescom Studio Live on IGN. Coming up, we've got a brand new trailer for a game that's destined to be a cult classic. Maybe because it's a little weird, but mostly because it's about running a cult. Here is Join Us.
I was part of the 3 cult for roughly 20 years.
I was part of the cult for 3 years.
I was a part of the for 6 years.
I was a member of the 73, 83, 93. Oh man, almost 25 years.
And today we're here to play Join Us.
Are we playing a game today?
Okay. Which one should we pick?
The alien, right? Because of the UFO. We all came from space originally, right? We got seeded here.
I believe that there was a UFO coming on May 12, 2001, and it was going to take us home to another galaxy.
It's a nice little compound.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's time to convert some followers. Who's a cult leader without a follower?
We have plenty of places to start a garden. The cult I was in was a holistic rejuvenation center. We grew all of our own food there.
I harvested tomatoes! Look at that!
Guys, I got a garden going. I got tomatoes growing.
I don't know what's going on here. We lived in a compound in Kauai. The living situation was disgusting. I don't understand this game.
Ah, look at him. He's beautiful. When we were in the cult, we had nunchucks. We trained in knives. We didn't have guns. Yeah, we were cult of peace.
You guys want to know how to farm?
I don't care. It's not going to be my job. This is addictive.
This is beautiful.
This game's kind of stupid, really.
It's a UFO.
I really just love UFOs.
Things got a little out of hand.
I feel like I made a family today.
No one's gonna like this. They're gonna hate it.
Hey, this is Joe, the creative director on Join Us. We're going to drop into a co-op session that I'm playing with Dennis and Costa from our QA team. It's me pulling up to the compound in a car that I definitely did not steal. There's a full narrative campaign in the game, but today we're just going to be doing some free play. This is a pretty early stage cult we're building, but we've got some infrastructure going, we've got guard towers, a few followers to pick up the slack and perform kind of grindy compound tasks for us. The look of the cult is very much up to the player. You're not locked into one wardrobe from the beginning, so I can go in and get weird with it. People may choose to have lower level followers wear specific outfits or reward their favorite followers with a cool bear costume and leopard print guns.
Just a reminder that expired leader points will no longer be accepted.
Our crops aren't ready to harvest, so we've got some time to kill, and a growing compound will need materials for building. Our best bet for materials right now is going to be raiding a nearby ranch. Costa and I can jump in the car, and Dennis, I guess, is just going to ride the pig all the way there. We have 7 in-game radio stations, including a full talk station that we're pretty excited about. Somehow, for a team of 13 people, we seem to have a lot of time in our hands to add ridiculous stuff that nobody asked for. There's a variety of human and animal enemies in the game. Ranchers are one of the lowest tiers. Some of these guys don't even have guns, which I guess makes us the bad guy. I don't know. I could have also brought an NPC follower with me, and that if I had died, they'd become like extra lives essentially. You just possess the nearest living follower. But also our team's been playing Join Us for a really long time, so it'd be kind of embarrassing if we just died fighting these guys. And the ranch is ours, and we can scavenge it for materials.
Our family believes in communal property, but locals do not. Taking certain resources is theft. If you are spotted taking it, expect infamy, angry civilians, and cops.
We get a little heads up from the leader here. It is your call, it's your rules, but this guy runs the corporate headquarters and likes to check in, sort of like you're franchising a fast food restaurant. Speaking of food, we'll skip ahead. The crops are growing, so I'm going to give my bear person a rest because I can see his hunger and sleep needs are rising. And we're going to have this cowboy-looking dude handle the farming. And Dennis and Costa are going to help too. Maybe we'll ride deer later, but probably not. We'll probably just stop the recording and get back to work because we have to ship a game. We hope you'll check out Join Us, March 2027, Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. Thanks.
IGN's coverage of Gamescom 2026 is presented by Fable.
The average Cinefix movie list features nearly 100 different films and approximately 25 minutes worth of wall-to-wall deep dive analysis. To simulate that pace for this 30-second ad, we're featuring 26 different films, and before you say it, no, that math does not check out. We're not math people, we're movie people. We can't even count down from 10 without ending up at, 96. Subscribe to IGN Movies and TV for more Cinefix movie lists. Bad at math, great at movies.
IGN Playlist is the best way to track your game collection. Now you can even import your entire Steam library to Playlist, making it easier than ever to review games, show off your collection of the world, and finally chip away at that massive backlog you keep meaning to get to. IGN Playlist, check it out.
IGN Store has everything you need to level up your life.
Red 6 standing by.
Refresh your wardrobe with official gear you won't find anywhere else. Treat yourself to the coolest collectibles like an adorable SKA plush, your very own Assassin's Creed Hidden Blade, and a fully functional Pip-Boy 3000. Head to store.ign.com and start shopping today. Do you want to be the very best like no one ever was? Streamline your journey to becoming a master trainer with Planet Pokemon. Choose your Pokemon, filtering by type, stats, or game availability. Then use the full team builder to assemble an unbeatable lineup. Plan out the optimal set of moves, items, and abilities. Play to your strengths by analyzing your team's resistances and offensive coverage. Or really maximize your Poke potential by digging into the stats by adjusting EVs and IVs. And save multiple team builds for different strategies in different games. Plan your dream team today at planetpokemon.com.
Next year, the Like a Dragon universe gets even bigger with a new Rags to Riches epic that takes place over the course of 50 years. Here to tell me all about Stranger Than Heaven is game director Mikinobu Abe. Welcome.
Hello. It is very nice to be here.
Glad to have you. So this is a distant prequel to the Like a Dragon games. You've got the Tojo clan in there. Are there some other themes or elements that RGG fans will recognize?
Yes, so I know there are certain keywords that we have put into our past trailers before, but for us developers, we take this as some kind of a brand new game, so all the game mechanics are really different. So we don't necessarily see it as a prequel, but it would be better if I think people would take this as more of a brand new game and brand new IP.
Okay. Well, we've got a brand new protagonist who's Makoto Daito. Compared to the other RGG protagonists, how would you describe him? Like, how does he compare to, Ichiban or Kiryu? And I guess also, which one of them would he get along with the best?
That is a very good question. So, Makoto Daito is a man who has a mixed heritage of Japanese and American, and I think that already makes him a very complicated character. And I don't know, some people might have noticed from the trailer, he's a really, really stubborn guy. So I would say he would get along with Kiryu more better.
They seem like similar vibes, similar energy, So I want to talk about this world, because this is spread out across not just 50 years, but 5 different locations. How is the game structured? Is it chronological? Are we going to see the areas in different time periods? How does it work?
So the game core concept revolves around following Makoto Daito's 50 years journey of searching his place to call home. And so it's basically a one man's life, starting from 1915 all the way till 1965. And since it is a life and, a lot of things could happen in one man's life, the game will take you from 1915, and then the era will change as Daito Makoto grows up and goes on with his life, and so as the player.
Okay. So will we see locations in different time periods?
So you won't be able to time slip and do stuff. And also, I won't spoil too much.
Sure.
But just to confirm that you won't be able to time slip and, go back to the past eras and cities.
Gotcha. Can you tell us a little bit about how you've kind of found the different look and feel and tone for the different eras and the different areas? How are they distinct?
Yes, so when we started developing this game, it was really important for us that we know what we're making. And the biggest challenge was that no one basically knows what it was like back in 1915 Kokura. And so all the eras was something that we need to kind of reimagine to fit our world and at the same time make it feel realism in a way. So we call it like a realism fiction, I would say. And so, our art team, I got to give it to a huge credit to our team of like researching everything and taking inspiration from a lot of things. Like they were at some point looking at like these vintage legends from back in the days, or like the movie posters that they had. And, they just built a great atmosphere for all the cities, and you can feel like you can know instantly that you're in a different era once the game progresses.
Now I want to talk about this coat he's wearing, which you've got one on too. What's the significance of that? I see it says trademark on the back, but I can't read the rest of it.
So the trademark says Yashima. So our main protagonist Daito comes to Kokura, which is a industrial city, and there he meets a man named Yashima, who happens to be a boss of a Yakuza organization in Kokura.
Okay, so it's his work uniform?
It's basically a work uniform for him.
Okay, right on. One of the best things about RGG games is, of course, the mini games and sub-stories. Are we going to see similar stuff here?
So in terms of variety, for the past RGG studio titles, we were depicting more modern cities with like stories that revolves around like few days to few weeks. The reason behind it was that the modern city has so much variety, and so that was what we were depicting. But for this game, we're going back to basically 1915, and we have 5 cities in 5 eras. So we do have mini games and we do have sub stories, but don't expect anything that's like RGG Studios past or games, but it's more rather something that we created from scratch to fit the tone and what Daito's story should be for this specific game.
Got it. I wasn't expecting Virtua Fighter cabinets, but I do want to talk a little bit about I guess how his character progresses and changes. Does he have? I guess tell me about that. How does the game reflect his different ages and the different time periods?
So one of the core things that we really wanted to nail was how combat was really, really intuitive. So the way it works is that you have your right and left bumper and the triggers button, and it controls the right side of the body of the protagonist and the left side of the protagonist. So the reason why this intuitiveness was really important to us was because it makes this kind of a synchronization for both player to be Daito Makoto, and I think that really adds a sense of immersion to it. And as Daito grows up, player can grow up based on like their playing skills. So that was something that we really tried to focus on. Of course, in the game and as Daito progress, we have so many weapons, and player can choose from 12 variety of weapon. And if they decide to, like, let's say, use a knife for like the 30 years, Daito will get matured. He knows how to use a knife more, and so as the player, using this new combat system that we have created.
And the weapons stay with you. They don't break after you hit a guy with them too many times.
Yes, it will stay with you.
Okay, that's nice. How did the combat system come together? Because it is very distinctive. Like, this is something I haven't seen before. How long has the team been working on it? It seems like very integral to the experience.
So we have been working on it for quite some time now. It is pretty long, but one of the biggest influence is that we wanted to go back to the roots of so-called a ninkyo genre, which is basically a Japanese term for like contents that's Yakuza themes. Yakuza as mean like the actual organization. Yakuza themes stuff. And so we wanted to go back to the roots on like what made these genres special, and what we got inspiration by was how raw the violence was, and like how much people were fighting is just like not really good at like martial arts, but it really felt like they're actually fighting in those movies. And we took a lot of inspiration from that. So we wanted to create something really raw and dynamic. So as you can see, Daito here, he's not a professional like fighter or anything, so he loses balances. He's not like every single punch, he's basically not doing like this really cool form. Instead, it's more of a raw combat. So that was something that we really wanted to depict when we were creating this game.
And I get the sense there's a bit of a learning curve to it. Like, it's not a button masher that people are used to.
Yes, I mean, the control is a little bit tricky. So at first, you might find it really hard, but as I mentioned before, it is very intuitive. So once you get the hang of it, it's more of an immersive experience rather than having a very difficult time with it.
Do you have difficulty options for people who are just there for the story?
We have some of the options that will help people who are unfamiliar with action games, which I cannot get into too many details yet. But yes, there will be some kind of options that people can choose from. But again, the combat looks hard at first, but because we made the learning balance very immersive, intuitive, I think people would find it rather, fun and easy in a way once the product is released.
Well, it definitely looks brutal. I want to talk a little bit more about the areas of the game. How big would you say they are, and how are they?
Yes, it is really close to what we have been creating in the past. But more importantly, we try to make the buildings more dense, so there's a lot of buildings that you can get into. So exploration-wise, there's going to be a lot that you can explore within the city.
Nice. I'd love to see it. Music plays a big role in the game. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So Makoto Daito's story starts from him arriving to Japan, and he has nowhere to go, and everyone treats him as a stranger. And he meets this character named Orpheus, who is portrayed by Snoop Dogg, and he needs to learn how to survive in this environment. He needs to make money, and one of the things that he finds is that music is really something fair, and entertainment business is something that he could fight alongside other people. And so that's what passions our main character to become a promoter and start a show business. So it's really something that Makoto Daito finds it something that he can kind of express in himself, but at the same time it is a surviving tool for him.
Is it comes into the game as like a mechanic, though, isn't there? Is there sort of like are you running a nightclub? Are they tracking down bits of music out there?
Yeah, so the core concept of that is basically it's a show business and you're the promoter of the show. So just like some musicians or like promoters take inspiration from other stuff, player will get to explore the city, find new sounds, and take inspiration from it. But you're a promoter, so you'll need to find a lot of people who will help you making the game or making the show, and the goal is, again, you need to make money out of the show business world. So, yeah.
I mean, I have found myself running some unusual businesses in RGG games, so I'm very intrigued to see how that comes together. Thank you so much for coming by and showing off your game and taking the time to chat. Stranger Than Heaven launches January 15th on Xbox Series, PlayStation 5, and PC. But right now, there's more Gamescom Studio right here on IGN.
Can't find that final collectible you're missing? IGN strategy guides and interactive maps are here to help.
One step at a time.
IGN guides are trusted by millions, easy to use, and best of all, free. IGN has the very best, most complete and accurate guides for Shadow of the Erdtree, Baldur's Gate 3, Tears of the Kingdom, and so much more.
See? It's good, right?
Every guide is tested and verified for you by experts. Just search for IGN when you search for guides.
IGN Plus is where your adventure begins.
What are you selling?
Plus is the place to get unlimited access to all the tools you need to beat your games.
Here's what you need to know for bringing down Gloomspawn.
Plus, awesome exclusive discounts on IGN Store.
Maybe this would tease open your money pouch.
Plus, ad-free browsing on IGN.com. Plus, unlimited game help tools like premium interactive maps with your own custom map markers, filters, marker notes, and more.
This will come in handy.
Plus, access to sweepstakes, giveaways, and free game keys.
Wow! Exactly.
Want more? Head to IGN.com/plus and start your adventure today.
The average Cinefix movie list features nearly 100 different films and approximately 25 minutes worth of wall-to-wall deep dive analysis. To simulate that pace for this 30-second ad, we're featuring 26 different films, and before you say it, no, that math does not check out. We're not math people, we're movie people. We can't even count down from 10 without ending up at, 96. Subscribe to IGN Movies and TV for more Cinefix movie lists. Bad at math, great at movies.
You're watching Gamescom Studio on IGN. Ananta is the brand new open world game that I cannot wait to play. Here to tell me all about it is Wrighton Huang. Welcome.
Thank you, Brian. Yes, I'm very excited to introduce Ananta to all the players around the world here with you, yes.
It's absolutely gorgeous. The audience is super excited for it. I think what I want to know first is sort of what is the story in this game? What is the sort of main kind of plot that we'll be digging into here?
我觉得 Ananta 这个游戏我们其实是一直
So Ananta is positioned as an urban open world RPG with a high degree of freedom, and where the players could enjoy the freedom to live different characters and identities. We have a multiple storyline and also much room for the exploration. So it's a high degree of freedom.
都市题材的游戏。
The traversal in this game looks awesome. I love the way you move around the world. I love that you get flying cars and motorcycles and bicycles. Tell me what your favorite thing is about just sort of flying around exploring this world.
我们的这个 Ananta 的游戏里面会有
So indeed, Ananta has multiple modes of traversal in the urban city life. And in addition to the common ways you mentioned, like flying car, motorcycle, and a bicycle, we also have the sharing bike, the skateboard, and speedboat. And personally, I love the slow mode, and because it is the way for me to slow down and enjoy the city and to find something very interesting in the city.
故事和人。
Yeah, it looks like the kind of place I just want to hang out in. You just want to sort of walk around and explore. What I want to know about is the combat, because it doesn't seem like you can just run up and fight anybody, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to just be a bully and go around and kick people's butts. So tell me about how the combat works in this game. It reminds me a lot of old school beat 'em ups and stuff like River City Ransom, Double Dragon, games that like really defined sort of the early days of gaming when it comes to fighting.
Anata 的游戏里面其实战斗
So actually, we have a very unique combat mechanism in Anata. So in addition to the regular items for the fight, we also could use the objects from the environment. It could be a trash bin, or you could disarm the enemies. So everything from the environment. So it also embodies the high degree of freedom in Anata.
去用自己的方式去战斗。
That's awesome. The phone that you have in your game is just a really cool accessory. I mean, we all have phones in our pockets right now, obviously, but it feels like it has special uses in Ananta. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
游戏里面的那个手机啊。
So for this question, I think two aspects. Just like the daily life, we have our phone in our pocket. So in a game, it's similar. You could use it for the social networking. You could chat with other characters. And in addition, we have the fan system. It's going to help us to have the storyline progressing. And it could be like a source of power as you have more fans. But sometimes, because you have more fans, you will get unwanted interest from some faction in the story. So that is the two dimension of the phone in a storyline.
关键的工具。
That's so cool.
Yeah.
This is not a gacha game. It is free to play, which means you've found ways to sort of monetize different aspects of it. A lot of that is cosmetic, correct?
Yes. 我们游戏不会把
Yeah, it is true. We do not have the traditional character gacha system in our game. This is because our developers will like the player to enjoy the freedom to live different characters and identity. It also showcases what we have said, the high degree of freedom. We don't hope that it's going to be a barrier for the player to enjoy the game. It is also hope that you could enjoy the characters and the identities as the story progresses. You will unlock different characters just as you play. And for the monetization, it will be on the cosmetics.
在逐渐跟大家去公开。
That's awesome. Which of the sort of cosmetic options are some of your favorites right now? Because it seems like you can buy all sorts of different clothes, costumes, hats. So what are some of your favorites that you've seen so far?
对我们游戏里面对于外观
Indeed, we have different kinds of accessories for different characters, and also in addition to like dress and clothes, we also have those arms, weapons, bags, vehicles. And so, personally, I cannot say which is my favorite because different characters have their unique cosmetics. So, we believe that with so many options, players are going to find what they like the most.
I can't wait. This looks like the kind of game that you can play for a really long time. I want to spend a ton of hours playing it. Does the team have plans for long-term content? To come out months or even years after the release date?
您说的很对，就是这是一个我们希望
We have the long-term light-up plan definitely, and we have launched the map, the first map Nova. Now in the new PV, you have seen the new map and of a totally different style. And after the official launch, for the map and a character and a storyline, we will have the regular update so the player can enjoy the brand new urban life in our game. In addition, we also have the multiplayer mode.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and so the player could enjoy and explore for the long term in our game.
一起在这个都市里面探索这样的一个可能性。
Well, that is Ananta. It's out January 15th.
Yes.
And we are all very, very excited for it. We've got lots more Gamescom Studio right here on IGN, so stick around.
Simon and I are here at Gamescom, and you got hands-on with Ananta, which is, if you've seen it, you kind of maybe don't know what it is. It's an open world action game with an anime style to it, but Simon, I hope you have a lot more answers this time around now that you've actually played it. Give me your top level thoughts on Ananta.
I'm intrigued. I was intrigued when I first saw think they released like a long trailer about a year ago, maybe longer than that, and I was like, okay, this looks interesting. This does look like a game that's trying to do everything. And like you said, there was GTA in there, there was Spider-Man in there, there was Watch Dogs in there. These are all things I enjoy. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll like this. I got to play roughly 45 minutes to an hour of the game. The problem was I was like thrown around in all different directions. It was like 10 minutes of doing this, 5 minutes of doing this, 5 minutes of doing this. And so I've got at the moment a really disjointed picture of what the flow of this game will be like and what you'll be doing it. Because like you said, there are elements of like modern action adventure games in there. So my demo started on a like a curated like story mission, which started with me taking out a few soldiers. It had like, you know, your typical kind of modern action combat. You could parry, you could dodge, you could attack, and then you had abilities like you had this like it's called like this, I can't remember the exact name of, but it was basically telekinesis. You could like pick up like, you know, drain covers and whack them back at people.
Right.
And then it turned into a car chase where I was in the passenger seat, and it turned into a third-person shooter. It kind of turned into Uncharted for a bit. Sure. So I was just hanging out and shooting, like, you know, enemies that were hanging out of vehicles chasing us. And then it went full Uncharted because it was basically a anime version of like the lorry, like the truck chase from Madagascar in Uncharted 4.
Sure, yeah.
And I was like, okay. With full like with quick time events and having to like hanging on to like a piece of wire trail in mind. I was like, okay. Is this really just a game that's taking lots of bits of other games and trying to make its own thing? And that's, after that, I got 5 minutes in the open world, and I could switch between 3 characters.
Okay.
And it does the GTA 5 thing, even with the exact same sound effect of when you switch characters, it goes boom, 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 boom. And you go back to them, and they're doing something, you know, like saying hi to a cat. They're doing something incidental, and then you play as them. So I got to play as 3 characters. One was the main character we've seen the most, who I was fighting as in the first level. And his special like, ability, it seems, is that he can traverse around this world like Spider-Man, but with like big like venom, black like goo. And basically, yeah, it controls exactly like Insomniac's Spider-Man games do. And then I switched to another character who, like, instead of when you swing with R2 on a PlayStation controller with the original character, you do Spider-Man things. This time, if you press R2, it will summon the bunny bike, which is her vehicle, which if you press another button on that, whereas you thought maybe accelerate would be R2, no, R2 activates the disco lights that come out of the wheels.
Okay. From everything we've seen, from trailers and from reveals, it seems like there is an emphasis on story. And I know, like, games in this vein, if you've played Zenless Zone Zero, if you played Honkai Star Rail, a lot of the Hoyoverse stuff, there are story elements to this that are really well done if you actually engage with that stuff. So, but this also seems like it's going for that sort of prestige-style storytelling with cutscenes and.
There's definitely a weird story going on here, but there's also like it half wants to be, I think, some sort of lifestyle sim game where it's very much influenced by, they say, by modern life, by modern tech. You're essentially almost like a superhero influencer. Like, you're using your phone, like you're gaining influence by like getting new clothes and stuff like that, and like completing missions will get you more influence. But I asked them
more questions now about what this game is.
I asked them, like, okay, this seems to be a comment on like modern culture and stuff, and they're like, is it a celebration or is it like a criticism of it in some ways? And they were like, it's more just a reflection of our young lives now. Okay. So I think it is more of a celebration. They're not going like, oh, how we live now is bad. It's more like, oh, there's fun to be had here. But on the other side, like you said, there is this sort of deep story thing going on, I think, because this game's made of like 2 big open world cities, but one story is the tagline. And so I got to jump into the other city, which it seems, so the one I was playing in first was more like a modern, almost like a modern day, like, you know, skyscraper looking city. Exactly. Yeah. Whereas the other place I was playing was more like traditional, like Chinese, like architecture, stuff like that. And what I played there was like a 15-minute escape sequence from some sort of temple where I was playing as what seemed like a teenage girl with bunny ears who had to escape from some invaders. Some very rudimentary stealth, you know, like wait for the guy with the flashlight to move away before you move on, like, you know, hide behind a rock until they move, like. But what that led me to was an underground temple. Which I walked through some sort of warp door, and it turned into what looked like the Animus from Assassin's Creed, with giant metal cubes floating around. I sound like I've been taking some stuff at Gamescom.
This game sounds like a fever dream.
Yeah, But basically, yeah, I get into this big metal cube place, and lo and behold, this like ninja-esque woman, like dressed all in black, attacks me. But I'm rescued by another ninja wearing a pig mask.
Okay.
Then the world starts collapsing, and I fall into like a river. I float down the river for a few minutes, and then I like end up in the city. And the last thing I did was walk down a road and rotate the right stick to roast some tea. Like you said, you're a fan of the Hoyoverse games.
Yeah.
I've like delved into Zenless Zone Zero at times, whereas that when I played that game, I knew kind of exactly what I was doing, what the structure would be. It's like I'd walk around this little town, like, you know, do some upgrades, talk to people, then I'd go out and do these like linear missions. A clear structure, not overly complicated. This is a free-to-play game like those Hoyoverse games, but crucially, it's not a gacha game. They're kind of, I think they're trying to monetize it purely through cosmetics, which aren't anything to do with like randomization or gambling. You're just going to buy the clothes you want and kind of show off. But it is single player only at the moment.
Yes.
So it's not like you're showing off to other people in this online world. And yeah, that's why I'm struggling at the moment. I don't know what the flow of this game's going to be like. Is it like a game you're meant to go mission to mission, or are you meant to just hang out? Because I asked them like, oh, at launch, like how many hours are you supposed to? And they're like, oh, there's like 100 hours at launch, which is what, mid-January, I think?
Yeah, it's gonna January 15th is the release date.
Yeah, post GTA 6, of course. So, you know, kind of any game that comes out after that's going to be compared in open world terms to that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's some weird, interesting. Give it this. It's a singular game. I've not seen something quite like this that's taking so many elements. But at this point, I'm not quite sure how it's all coming together.
Yeah, and I think that's the main question. When I hear this, like, all these bits and pieces sound like they could be my jam, and which we have seen other games do. But the big question is, like, you could be as ambitious as you want to be. You could have all these ideas and throw them into a pot, hope they come together, but they gotta come together in some sensible way. And when I first saw the reveal of this game, I'm like, oh, the anime aesthetic in an open world with traditional action elements that we might see from like the PlayStation Prestige games. Like, on paper, that sounds really cool, but again, like I said, I feel like I have come away from this conversation with a lot more questions about what Ananta is. But I think, like,
I don't want to be overly down next. I feel like I still haven't got a full grasp of it. I'm still kind of in that confused state, and like,
which isn't necessarily like a bad thing.
No, I'm intrigued. I want to find out more about it. It does look beautiful. It sounds beautiful. It's got like different radio stations and pop songs, like a GTA would. But yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm going to leave it there. I don't want. I have no judgment to cast down on this game yet, but they have my attention.
That is Ananta. That's coming out January 15th next year. And if you want more coverage of all the games at Gamescom 2026, stick with IGN.
Please.
Please.
Do you want to be the very best like no one ever was? Streamline your journey to becoming a master trainer with Planet Pokemon. Choose your Pokemon, filtering by type, stats, or game availability. Then use the full team builder to assemble an unbeatable lineup. Plan out the optimal set of moves, items, and abilities. Play to your strengths by analyzing your team's resistances and offensive coverage. Or really maximize your Poke potential by digging into the stats by adjusting EVs and IVs. And save multiple team builds for different strategies in different games. Plan your dream team today at planetpokemon.com. IGN Store has everything you need to level up your life.
Red 6 standing by.
Refresh your wardrobe with official gear you won't find anywhere else. From Fallout, Expedition 33, Romeo's a Dead Man, and more. Treat yourself to the coolest collectibles like an adorable SKA plush, your very own Assassin's Creed Hidden Blade, and a fully functional Pip-Boy 3000. Or kick back and relax to your favorite video game soundtracks on vinyl. Whatever you need, IGN Store has you covered. Head to store.ign.com and start shopping today.
Can't find that final collectible you're missing? IGN strategy guides and interactive maps are here to help.
One step at a time.
IGN guides are trusted by millions, easy to use, and best of all, free. IGN has the very best, most complete and accurate guides for Shadow of the Erdtree, Baldur's Gate 3, Tears of the Kingdom, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Zombies, and so much more.
See? It's good, right?
Every guide is tested and verified for you by experts. Just search for IGN when you search for guides.
We're still here and I'm very warm, but that's because we're at the hottest show in town. This is IGN's live coverage of Gamescom, and coming up for you next we have a look at Dragon's Dogma 2 Dark Arisen, and following that, a look at the prequel to Saw Genesis. But first for you, a couple of trailers. A trailer for Gate Zero and one for Train Watch. I do hope it's on time.
Easy to rise against the chains you can see. It's harder to face the oppression that is hidden. No, where are you? I am done building their empire.
Belong.
We are not supposed to die in bondage. We need a revolution.
Meet Troy, the new gatekeeper of Train Watch, a time management mystery adventure set at a fog-bound railway crossing. What looks like a simple one-month job to fix his life quickly becomes anything but ordinary. And then, the routine turns into exploration. Occult grounds, unsettling folk, locked places, and secrets that were never meant for you. Train Watch, developed by Harvester Games and published by 11-Bit Studios, is coming in 2027.
Dragon's Dogma 2 is one of the biggest games this generation, and with the upcoming Dark Arisen expansion, it's about to get even bigger. Here to break it all down for me is Mr. Yoshiaki Hirabayashi, Mr. Kento Kinoshita, and Mr. Patrick Shields, who'll be interpreting. Welcome, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So, Dragon's Dogma 2. First off, let's talk about the name of this expansion, Dark Arisen. It's funny because the original Dragon's Dogma also had an expansion called Dark Arisen. Is this if it ain't broke, don't fix it situation?
原作にも DLC の名前がダークアリズンとついてると思うんですけど、同じ名前を使ってもいいよと思った理由などについて教えてください。
はい、名前から決めたわけではなくて、どういった遊びにしてお客さんに楽しんでいただくかを考えながら制作して、その結果ダークアリズンという名前にしました。
We actually decided on the content and concept first, and it wasn't until later we started thinking about what to name the DLC. And we realized that the way the action works and the way the story goes, actually Dark Arisen seemed like a good fit for the content this time around, so we just went with it.
I think it takes us to a brand new snowy area called Norgan. How does this new, the cold weather affect how we'll explore and what we can do?
新しいエリアのノルガンで寒い地方になっていると思うんですけど、ゲームプレイにどのような影響を与えるのでしょうか。
はい、新しいノルガンというフィールドでは本編とは違った新しい体験を楽しんでもらえるように集中して制作しています。特に特徴的なのは戦闘や探索で手に入る遺戦品と呼ばれるレリックですね。それを集めながらストーリーを進めていけるというところが特徴になっています。
Yeah, the new region, as you've seen, is a sort of icy wasteland, and as you go there and explore to find relics and progress through the storyline, you'll be sure to discover that it's not just a pretty effect. There's all kinds of weather effects that affect the gameplay, from the direction of the wind to snowstorms limiting your visibility to all kinds of different things to discover.
And can you set up the storyline of Dark Arisen?
ではストーリーラインの概要について教えてもらっていいでしょうか。
はい、ストーリーとしては概要になりますけれども、このノルガンという新しいフィールドに不死の竜が現れてしまったというところが物語のきっかけになっています。そしてプレイヤーは不死の竜を追うエイルというキャラクターと関わり合いながらその謎を突き詰める謎に向かって冒険を進めていくことになります。
When you first arrive in the new region of Norgan, you're going to be investigating a mysterious phenomenon occurring in the vicinity, and a mysterious woman called Air is going to appear and help you try to uncover the mystery of the fallen dragon. And exactly what awaits and what the nature of the fallen dragon and this mystery woman are surprises we'd love for players to discover when the game comes out.
はい、物語の最後になぜ今回ダークアリズンという名前がついたのかも明らかになるので注目していただきたいです。
What I can say is that by the time you get to the end of the storyline, you'll fully understand why we used the name Dark Arisen again. It's got a very deep meaning and connection.
Can you talk a little bit about this dragon that we're seeing on the screen right now?
今画面に映っているのが利害の竜だと思うんですけど、どういうボスキャラクターなのかについて教えてもらっていいでしょうか。
はい、断りから外れてしまったドラゴンです。そして見た姿から分かるようにちょっとアンデッドドラゴンのようなビジュアルをしています。このドラゴンは心臓のない不死の竜になっています。プレイヤーはこの不死の竜をめぐって物語ストーリーを進めていくことになります。
Yeah, the fallen dragon is really a kind of an impossible creature. Normally a dragon in the world of Dragon's Dogma would have a beating heart, but as you can see, this one's chest is hollow and it's got this creepy undead, almost zombie-like appearance. So exactly how such a being could possibly exist and the mysteries of how you're going to try and progress and defeat it are what awaits you in the storyline of the DLC.
So how will we access this new area, Norgan? When you install the expansion, does it just become available on the map?
DLC を購入してインストールしたらマップに新たなエリアが追加されていて行けるっていうようなシステムになっているのでしょうか。どういうアクセス方法があるのでしょうか。
はい、ゲームを始めたらマップが出るわけではなく、本編のストーリーの序盤ですね、ベルンワース城の夜の酒場でベルントというキャラクターと、話しかけてクエストを受注してアクセスすることができます。
Not so much that is a new map area unlocked, but rather if you've just got to the beginning area of the game in the castle in Vernworth, where you can go to the inn at night and speak to a character named Brant. That happens pretty early on in the game, and as long as you can find that NPC, he will give you the relevant quests that will allow you to visit the new region. So it's pretty simple.
I see. You've added a new loot system to this new area. What can you tell us about relics and the gameplay loop that they create?
新しく追加されている遺跡品のゲームプレイループについて教えてください。
はい、戦闘や探索で手に入れることができるんですけれども、その手に入れた遺跡品は村に戻って鑑定することで強力な武器や防具、そしてアイテムになっていきます。
The relic expedition cycle, as we call it, is going to involve going out and exploring the wastelands of Norgan and through combat and other means discovering these spoils or relics. You can't use them as they are, though. You're going to have to go back to the settlement and have them appraised to see exactly what kind of loot you've been able to grab.
Interesting.
その武器や防具をプレイヤーであったりメインポーンに装備させることでプレイヤーたちは強くなれるので、その状態でさらにストーリーだったり奥へのフィールドの奥へ探索を進めていくことができるようになっています。
Once you appraise it and see the kind of weapons or armor that you've got and what level they are at or what skills are attached, then you can equip them on yourself or your main pawn and head right back out for more adventuring and keep repeating that loot cycle to get stronger and stronger gear and go further in the story and take on even tougher enemies.
このサイクルっていうのは1のダークアリズムでも非常に好評だったハック&スラッシュのプレイフィールに近く楽しんでもらえると思います。
I think that if you're familiar with Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen in the original game, then it'll be a very familiar loot gameplay cycle that Dogma fans are instantly at home with.
You mentioned tougher enemies. Can you tell us anything about the new enemies in the expansion?
エクスパンションに登場するより手強い敵について教えてください。
はい、ノルガンの地では本編よりも、タフなエネミーたちがたくさん登場します。エネミーの中には、この寒い環境ならではの攻撃をしてくるようなエネミーたちもいます。例えば雪崩を起こしたり気象をブリザードにしたり、そういったエネミーたちがたくさんいますが、前半は寒い土地ならではのエネミーたちがいるんですけれども、後半になるにつれよりダークファンタジーを感じるエネミーも登場します。
From the beginning of your adventures in Norgren, you're going to encounter lots of really interesting new enemies, and they're particularly themed around the cold weather nature of this zone. So not only are they going to be like icily themed, but a lot of them will have attacks such as creating blizzards and snowstorms or causing avalanches and other trickery that really ties into the theme of the new area. That said, the further and further you progress into this DLC, you'll find that the thematic nature will progress from coldness into a kind of darkness. And exactly what that means is sort of what awaits players at the end of the DLC.
And should we expect new bosses as well?
新しいボスも追加されていると期待していいでしょうか。
そうですね、先ほど見ていただいた利害の竜もそのボスですし、そうではない氷のドラゴンフィンブルという強力な魔法であったり気象を操るようなドラゴンも登場します。
Of course, you've just shown one on the screen, the Fallen Dragon. It's one of the earliest encounters, and there are other bosses awaiting, such as Fimble, the Ice Dragon, who's one of the quests you can play at Gamescom.
I think you're also adding new Lost Rites dungeons. What kind of challenges await us in there?
ロストライツの追加されているダンジョンでプレイヤーを待つ試練について教えてください。
はい、ロストライツは、ノルガンとは違いベルムント大陸の方に、いろんな場所に12個のダンジョンが眠っていたというところを遊べるようになるコンテンツです。
The Lost Rites dungeons are 12 unique dungeon locations that will be accessible in the map that was part of the normal Dragon's Dogma 2 map.
And what sort of challenges await us in those dungeons?
ではそこで待っているチャレンジや試練についてはどんなものがあるのでしょうか。
はい、ロストライツダンジョンは一つ一つがそれぞれコンセプトを持って異なる攻略が楽しめるように設計されています。また難易度も初めに遊べるものから後半に遊べるものに徐々に難易度のグラデーションがあって難易度が上がっていくような設計がされています。
Each of the dungeons has its own unique concept that it's built around, and they start off pretty challenging already, but there's a difficulty curve built in so that the further and further you go through all 12, I think even veteran players are going to have quite a meaty challenge on their hands.
例えば、 遠距離武器で攻略するのが楽しいダンジョンであったり、溶岩の中を進んでいかなきゃいけないようなダンジョンなども存在しています。
As for the themes, there could be dungeons where it's more beneficial for you to use long-range weapons. So if you're using melee already, you might need to change up your tactics. Or a very long, deep dungeon where pushing further ahead is going to be part of the challenge. So all kinds of different concepts await.
So Dragon's Dogma 2 Dark Arisen is coming October 9th to its existing platforms. It's also coming to Nintendo Switch 2 as all one package, which is very impressive. This is a gigantic game. Can you speak a little bit about how you got it working on Nintendo Switch 2?
スイッチ2への移植のプロセスについて教えてください。
スイッチ2へはこのプロジェクトが立ち上がった時に対応しようと我々気持ちを一つにして他のプラットフォームと同じようなタイムラインで開発を進めていきました。
Firstly, in terms of timeline, we already knew from the beginning of this DLC project that we wanted to include Nintendo Switch 2 in the hardware platforms. So we had it in the plan right from the beginning, alongside, as you said, the existing platforms where Dragon's Dogma 2 had already launched.
Very cool.
Yeah, 非常にスイッチ2の体験っていうのは他のプラットフォームとも同じぐらいのクオリティとなんだろうな品質で体験できるように我々強く手応えを感じているのでぜひ試してみてもらいたいと思ってます。
We've worked really hard on the Nintendo Switch 2 version and we're feeling confident that players, regardless of the platform they choose, are going to get identical play, feel and experience, and we're working right up to the last moment on as many optimizations as possible. So I hope you look forward to it.
We definitely look forward to it. Dragon's Dogma 2 is a very cool game. I'm looking forward to the expansion, and I think Nintendo fans are also looking forward to getting their hands on it. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dragon's Dogma 2 Dark Arisen launches this October. Stick with IGN for more coverage of Gamescom 2026.
IGN's coverage of Gamescom 2026 is presented by Metro 2039.
The average Cinefix movie list features nearly 100 different films and approximately 25 minutes worth of wall-to-wall deep dive analysis. To simulate that pace for this 30-second ad, we're featuring 26 different films, and before you say it, no, that math does not check out. We're not math people, we're movie people. We can't even count down from 10 without ending up at, 96. Subscribe to IGN Movies and TV for more Cinefix movie lists. Bad at math, great at movies.
Can't find that final collectible you're missing? IGN strategy guides and interactive maps are here to help.
One step at a time.
IGN guides are trusted by millions, easy to use, and best of all, free. IGN has the very best, most complete and accurate guides for Shadow of the Erdtree, Baldur's Gate 3, Tears of the Kingdom, and so much more.
See? It's good, right?
Every guide is tested and verified for you by experts. Just search for IGN when you search for guides.
IGN Plus is where your adventure begins.
What are you selling?
Plus is the place to get unlimited access to all the tools you need to beat your games.
Here's what you need to know for bringing down Gloomspawn.
Plus, awesome exclusive discounts on IGN Store.
Maybe this would tease open your money pouch.
Plus, ad-free browsing on IGN.com. Plus, unlimited game help tools like premium interactive maps with your own custom map markers, filters, marker notes, and more.
This will come.
Plus, access to sweepstakes, giveaways, and free game keys.
Wow! Exactly.
Want more? Head to IGN.com/plus and start your adventure today.
We hit the tides of annihilation before Simon just got to play the game.
I did. That is the truth.
That's the truth. I'm not lying. For anyone who's not familiar with the game, can you tell us a bit about it?
I can. So this is an action-heavy game. My initial impressions were if you went, it's kind of character action mixed with a bit of that Final Fantasy 16 combat, but set in what they call modern London. But, you know, I've lived there my whole life. I've never seen it quite looking like this. But you play as Gwendolyn, who is kind of still mysterious what's going on in this story, but you're kind of seemingly going around this fantasy London looking for shards of the Holy Grail, and there's people that don't want you to have it. But on your side are these sort of like spectral Knights of the Round Table. So it's kind of inspired by that old British tale of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. And that's kind of the setup. And yeah, what else would you like to know?
I don't know. Obviously, what did you get to play?
That would be a great question and something I can tell you. So I got to play through pretty much most of what seemed like a main mission, which took me to what they call the Great Russell Museum, which is basically their version. It's an unlicensed British museum, basically. The combat is kind of the headline here. It is fast, frantic, and I only got to play for like 40-45 minutes. That seems like a decent chunk, but this is quite a complex combat system, and I've still not 100% got my head around it. So I won't lie, I was kind of spamming my way through a lot of it because most attacks seem to be what? There's a lot going on. You've got light attacks, heavy attacks, parries. You've got like enhanced attacks if you hold in L1 and then do an attack. But then you've also got these knights that can come in to help you. And they're kind of the main like difference between this and just being a standard action game. And it works similarly, like I mentioned, to how Final Fantasy 16 worked. And in as much you don't have a party, but you have these different sets of knights that you can mix and match with different abilities that can come in and help you win a fight. And I'm still kind of getting my head around that, how that works. But look, I beat the first boss, so it wasn't a complete disaster.
Did you have any favorite knights? Like, because you said there was a few that you can mix and match. Is there anything?
Yeah, I liked there was, and I can't remember their names now because it's all a blur, but I liked there was one that can kind of break when the enemies are in guard stance and kind of get in for close, like almost stun damage and break their stance. There's another one that can do quick slicing damage as well. And I like that they're not only useful during combat, but they're useful outside of combat. So solving puzzles or traversal, one basically grants you a bow and arrow, so you can like knock down loot and get that from the environment. One can like barge through specific like walls to open up areas in the environment. So these knights are kind of crucial to the gameplay, to the story, from what I can tell. It all seems very slick. It looks beautiful. I'm just not at a point yet where I can say, is it all coming together?
Yeah, okay, that's fair. And obviously, like you said about London, obviously us being from London, did you get to explore much of like what is that London and like what does it look like?
I kind of walked into the British Museum from the main gate. So let's say we got off the tube at Holborn. We would have gone round the corner. There's a terrible cafe opposite. We wouldn't have gone in there. But it's all kind of like, you know, it's Tides of Annihilation. The city's not in a good place, you know. Annihilation is the key word there. And it does look like London, to be fair. It doesn't just look like they've made a modern-looking city full of, like, old architecture and then gone, this is London. The British Museum did resemble what it looks like in real life. There was the central, like, library bit, which they called the reading room, I think. And, yeah, I really like the look, the art style of the game. The music as well, I really liked it. That's where I bring like the clair-obscur element in. The music was very clair-obscur and kind of the art style reminds me of that as well. I had a good time playing it, and I think I will make my way through it when it does eventually actually release.
The Book of the Dead. Doesn't sound like a fun read.
What about the voice acting? Because obviously Angela Santalbano has just stepped into the role. How was it?
It was great. Yeah,
she's amazing.
Yeah, she's amazing.
She's fantastic.
Yeah, so I didn't really... You know what, I kind of put it out of my mind that it's a new voice actress because we never really, you know, don't get me wrong, Jennifer English is utterly brilliant.
She's fantastic as well.
We didn't really get to know her as this character. It's not like I've suddenly gone, whoa, what have they done here? They've completely changed it. Angela seemed absolutely brilliant in the role as Gwendolyn. And yeah, I'm with her on the fight, but also with her on the fight, I haven't mentioned her companion friend who is a fairy who can turn into some sort of like phoenix-like bird and follow you around. She seems cool. Yeah, I don't know, the game seems cool. It's very slick, very flashy, and I can kind of confirm that it feels as slick to play as it looks, which is always a good sign.
I was going to say that is always good to hear because I think the combat looks super cool, but I also feel like it will take me a little bit of time to get used to it because it looks like a lot.
Yes, yeah, there is a lot going on, and yeah, I think I need several more hours with it until I can judge, is this a good combat system? Because there's a lot going on the screen. Like I say, we're a game with this, it's beautiful. There's a lot of particle effects, a lot of attacks going on. You can parry the red ones, you can dodge the yellow attacks. Like, yeah, I still need to get my head around what's going on, like I said multiple times now. But, you know, yeah, I'm into it. I'm into it. I'm looking forward to playing it properly.
was your favorite thing about playing this demo, and is there anything you think they can improve?
My favorite thing was probably the boss fight. I got to play against like a big knight on this, almost like we transcend to like almost another realm out of the British Museum inside this like sand world place where he wanted to fight me. It went through like 2 or 3 phases, which surprised me. Yeah, there was really the presentation. It has like those big like Final Fantasy 16 moments where like, you know, a big attack happens and suddenly you're all swirling into the air and crashing down and like the camera's swirling around. Like, but I will say to its credit, it was always readable, and I was worried that maybe, yeah, there'd be too much going on to actually concentrate on the fight. But ultimately, yeah, the presentation matches the combat, which is always good.
So it's good. And anything that you feel like they can improve on? Anything that could be...
It's hard to say yet if they could improve on. I'm intrigued to see where the story goes. The writing was fine. It seemed the voice acting was great, but the writing itself, I was a bit like, okay, well, is there more depth to it? It was a lot of like, you know, walking around, it was like, you know, this place has seen better days. It wasn't, you know, quite that, but, you know, if I'd written it sound like that, it'd be awful. So yeah, ultimately, really excited about it. It's getting me quite hot and bothered, actually. But, you know, I'm very much looking forward to playing more Tides of Annihilation.
I'm also very excited to play it. For more news on Tides of Annihilation and more, stay tuned with IGN.
Please.
Hi, it's Mike from Outside Xbox here for IGN on the Gamescom 2026 show floor. I've been playing Silent Hill Townfall, and I think this is the Silent Hill series Resident Evil 7 moment. So obviously Resident Evil 7 redefined what a Resident Evil game could be. It switched to first person, it changed the setting up and things like that. Silent Hill Townfall is having its Resident Evil 7 moment because it is redefining what a Silent Hill game can be. Silent Hill is no longer about the specific location Silent Hill. We know that from Silent Hill F, but now Townfall is also a first-person game, and I think they're absolutely nailing it. This is a pivotal moment for the series. It will see whether fans are prepared to accept something that is so different, but I think the team at Screenburn, directed by John McKellen, have nailed it, essentially. I think it fits really well as a first-person atmospheric horror game. It's quite methodical and slow-paced at the beginning as you enter the town of St. Emilia, which is a sort of island off the coast of Scotland in 1996. I just think the vibes are absolutely impeccable. As someone who grew up in Britain in the 1990s, the attention to detail, the level of care that has gone into the environments is absolutely incredible. There are so many tiny references to sort of product design and architecture that someone with my experience immediately picks up on. I guess the question is whether a US audience will have the same feeling of connection. I think even if they don't, what they will have is a sense of the authenticity. So again, with Silent Hill F, you know, that was set in Japan in the 1960s. As an outsider from that culture and someone who wasn't there at the time, that authenticity still sort of seeps through the screen and it draws you into that world. And I'm hoping, as a Brit, that the fact that I can vouch for all this stuff being authentic will do the same thing for a global audience, Silent Hill Townfall. It's honestly striking how many little references to typography and things like that. So if you remember word art from Microsoft Word, when you were really looking to jazz up your school presentation, there is a little poster with word art on the notice board in a doctor's surgery. That's the level of sort of minute granular detail that these guys have gone for in Silent Hill Townfall. And for me, it was extremely nostalgic and gave it an immediate sense of time and place that is so important, I think, when you're trying to draw people into a world. I think the town of St. Emilia itself is really interesting. Obviously, there are sort of two sides to it. There's the more conventional version of the town, which is where you first arrive. You sort of wash up on the beach, basically. And then there is the sort of twisted Silent Hill version, where there are sort of pipes erupting out of the streets and things like that. What I found interesting was, having spent a bit of time during the demo, and we had a really substantial amount of time, an hour and a half, to play this game here at Gamescom, which is a real luxury at a show like this. Having had time to explore the environment, it was really interesting to wander over to the real extreme end of the town and discover that there is an enormous concrete wall with pipes coming out of it at the edge of the town, even in its sort of normal guise. So there's a lot of questions there about whether St. Emilia is, you know, a real place at all. You know, is it a real physical location, or is it something trapped inside the mind of the protagonist? I think one of the things I really enjoyed getting my hands on, as someone who'd seen the game in video but not played it myself, was the CRT TV, the portable TV, which I think serves a very similar purpose to the motion tracker in Alien Isolation. Not just because it's ancient technology and looks like it could break down at any moment, but because it acts almost like a sort of motion tracker. It's an enemy tracker. So when an enemy is nearby you, similar to Silent Hill 2 with the sort of radio static, you will get a sort of frequency appearing on your CRT, and you need to tune into that frequency. So that can be stressful in itself if you're in an environment where there are enemies, and there will be multiple pings if there are multiple enemies. But then once you've tuned into those frequencies, you get an indicator of where the enemy is located, and if you point the CRT TV towards it, you will actually be able to see them through walls. I think this is a really wise thing for a survival horror game to do, because I think you need that additional awareness. And you get a lot of games that require you to stealth that come up with these sort of contrivances to give you a greater awareness of what's around you. I like the fact that this is part of the world and part of the lore and part of the fiction, and so it doesn't pull you out of that experience. There's a real sense that they're trying to strip back the UI and things like that and make as much of it diegetic or inside the world as possible. And so the CRTV is a really brilliant way to make the sort of motion tracker experience of building tension, but also giving you that greater awareness of what's around you. Again, the writer and director, John McClellan, did work on Alien Isolation as far as I know, so I think there's probably a little bit of borrowing there, or a little bit of understanding that that was an inspired choice for that particular game. But it's also a real tension builder when you're surrounded by enemies and you can see through the walls and see them scuttling about. That's also really, really exciting. So a really good combination of storytelling and technology in that game. I'm super confident that Silent Hill Townfall will be embraced by the Silent Hill fans. I think it is this game's Resident Evil 7 moment, and I think it is going to convert that potential. So as I said, I think this series' Resident Evil 7 moment. I believe it will convert on that potential, and we don't have long to find out because the game is out September 24th. So keep it locked to IGN for much more horror from Gamescom 2026. We're in the right place for some horror, and we'll see you next time.
Do you want to be the very best like no one ever was? Streamline your journey to becoming a master trainer with Planet Pokemon. Choose your Pokemon, filtering by type, stats, or game availability. Then use the full team builder to assemble an unbeatable lineup. Plan out the optimal set of moves, items, and abilities. Plan your dream team today at planetpokemon.com.
Catch up on all your favorite shows with up-to-the-minute gaming and entertainment news with Geek Media Podcasts.
Welcome to a very special episode of IGN GameScoop.
GameScoop has you covered for all things gaming and the latest game releases. Tune into Podcast Beyond for the biggest PlayStation news.
Man, this is a cool looking trailer.
Everything Xbox on Podcasts Unlocked.
This is Steve Downs, the voice of Master Chief.
Catch up with your Super Nintendos on Nintendo Voice Chat.
Let the kids love what we love.
And get all the latest console news and rumors with Next Gen Console Watch.
Now Xbox and Phil Spencer are even saying that a mid-gen refresh isn't even necessary.
The Cinefix Top 100 podcast picks a movie every week to celebrate and debate.
It's kind of every movie's grandpa.
Geek Media Podcasts. The best podcasts from around the world.
Find that final collectible you're missing? IGN strategy guides and interactive maps are here to help.
One step at a time.
IGN guides are trusted by millions, easy to use, and best of all, free. You can even track your progress with interactive checklists so you know you reached that 100% completion.
I will not suffer.
IGN has the very best, most complete and accurate guides for Shadow of the Erdtree, Baldur's Gate 3, Tears of the Kingdom, and so much more. Just search for IGN when you search for guides.
What's up, everybody? Damon here at Gamescom, and it's time to talk about Game of Thrones, War for Westeros. I'm here with Ryan, who's the game director. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So, Game of Thrones in an RTS, it's a combination that seems so perfect, it's almost surprising it didn't happen earlier.
It is surprising, and we're very fortunate to be the ones that get to bring it to life.
Yeah, so you're gonna get to act out your own epic battles in the Game of Thrones universe. What sort of what factions or houses are going to be in the game at launch?
So for launch, you'll be able to play as the Starks, the Lannisters, the Targaryens, and interestingly, the White Walkers as well.
So, everyone has their own opinions about who should sit on the Iron Throne.
Of course.
If you believe the Night King should sit there, I think that's something you can make happen.
That is
right?
something you can make happen. So we give players the agency to play out the conflicts across Westeros and change the outcomes and ultimately decide the fate of Westeros as well.
And you actually have the likenesses of the actors from the show, is that right?
Yeah, we have the license with the HBO television series, so we get access to the likeness of certain characters.
And does each faction have their own story campaign?
It's not necessarily a story campaign, it's more like a sandbox campaign with a player-led narrative.
Okay.
So you can play as every faction in this, and you'll basically play as that faction over their conquest of Westeros, and ultimately decide which faction sits on the Iron Throne, as well as which hero does it.
So, RTS with Game of Thrones setting, tell me a little bit about the actual gameplay. What sort of RTS game is this?
So, Game of Thrones War for Westeros is a classic real-time strategy game where you build your base, you build up your army, you gather your economy, and you march out to claim different territories in an epic battle across Westeros.
And what sort of specific or unique RTS mechanics do you have?
So we have base building, territory claiming. One thing that's really interesting is with our rock, paper, scissors mechanic with our units. So all of our units have either a unit type or a unit role, and how that effectively works is a unit type is what type of unit am I. So if I am riding a horse, I'm a cavalry unit. If I'm on my foot, I'm infantry unit. But then they also have a role that they play. So they could be an anti-cavalry or an anti-infantry. They also have light and heavy tags, so anti-light, anti-heavy, and that creates this Venn diagram of counterplay within all the units, and it brings a interesting layer of complexity to the game there.
Is there a resource gathering and management aspect to it as well?
Yeah, so you can gather, there's two resources in the game. There's gold and influence. So you can gather gold just by placing your resource gathering buildings around territory that you own. You can also increase the gold that they earn by placing them on high yield ground in certain territories. And then you can gather influence as well by placing influence structures on top of influence points. But every faction will also have their own unique way of earning influence based on a way that fits their identity. So for example, the Lannisters, when you think about their faction identity, you think of gold, wealth, power. The Lannisters are able to trade gold for influence as well.
What faction do you like to play as?
I play all of them. I like all of them for different reasons. At the moment, I've been playing a lot of Lannisters, but I think I'm going to be probably moving towards White Walkers pretty soon.
It must be an interesting balancing act, making sure that the Starks are viable against the Targaryens and their dragons. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, look, balance is not the most important thing for us. We really put an emphasis on spectacle and memorable moments. Obviously, the game, we're trying to balance the game and make sure it's a fun experience, but fun takes priority, where it's okay if things are super strong and powerful in the moment, as long as it creates a memorable experience and a spectacle for you to enjoy.
Are there hero units for each faction?
Yep, so there's heroes in the game. So far we've announced Jon Snow, Robb Stark, Ghost, Grey Wind, Arya Stark, Tywin Lannister, Jaime Lannister, the Mountain, Daenerys Targaryen, and the Night King as heroes in the game.
Yeah, and they have unique abilities.
And they have unique abilities that you can play. You field them on the battlefield, they'll come out, they level up, they have unique abilities, and they basically prioritize either clearing through enemy forces or commanding and buffing your forces yourself.
So you've got the likenesses and characters of the show. Are there any recognizable battlefield locations?
Yeah, so recently we had a demo where we had people play the game, and they were able to play in Ashmark and on the Neck as two of the maps, and every single map that we have in the game is handcrafted and will all be based in featured locations across Westeros.
Any examples?
So we've got the Neck and Ashmark revealed at the moment. We're looking forward to revealing more soon.
Okay. We have a preview up on IGN right now that's very positive. In the preview, the previewer did a 1v1 battle.
Yep.
Can more factions join in?
So we will be supporting 1v1, 2v2, and 4-player free-for-all in our matchmaking queue. But outside of that, you can create a custom game, and you can configure the settings to have any sort of format you want. And then also in the campaign, there'll be a variety of different modifiers over the top of the skirmish layer as well.
Okay, so single player and multiplayer options.
Yes, we prioritize both.
Tell me a little about so you pick a faction. How does the sort of how are you sort of set off on your campaign?
So we aren't talking too much about the campaign just now. That's going to be something we talk about more in the future. But right now, what I can say is that when you boot up the campaign, you'll be asked to choose a faction that you want to play, so Starks, Lannisters, Targaryens, or the White Walkers. You'll then go into beginning your campaign of a conquest across Westeros. It'll take you into a metamap. You'll see all the kingdoms that you can claim, and you'll then be fighting for control over those territories, working towards the Iron Throne, and then, of course, experiencing the high-stakes alliances and betrayals that we all know and love from Game of Thrones.
What's the part of it that you're most excited for people to finally experience for themselves?
I think that ultimately the campaign brings a lot to the table in how it will allow players to tell their own story and experience Game of Thrones through their own experience.
You're developing it for PC. Do you think it would work on consoles?
I think it could work on consoles in the future, but right now PC is our priority, and getting a solid foundation there and working with our community to build it over time.
Sure. You know, the Nintendo Switch 2 has mouse controls.
It does.
Just saying.
Yeah, we have spoken to Nintendo about that.
You still aiming for an early 2027 release?
Yes, so currently we're aiming for early 2027, and we'll be revealing a lot more later this year about that as well.
Very cool. Any other details you'd like to share?
We recently announced our closed beta sign up this week, so you can go to our website, sign up for the closed beta, and have a chance to play Game of Thrones War for Westeros later this year.
Well, there you have it. If you ever wanted to enact your own battles in Westeros and put who you want on the Iron Throne, you can do so in Game of Thrones War for Westeros early next year. Stay tuned. Lots more to come from Gamescom here on IGN.
How's it going, everyone? Nick and Michael with IGN here at Gamescom 2026. You played Saw Genesis.
Sure did.
All right, before we get into anything, check out this really cool trap right here. Don't sit in that one. Okay, give me the, from 10,000 feet, what is this game?
It's an asymmetrical horror game. You know, we've heard that many times before, especially with horror franchises, right? You know, we've had Dead by Daylight, we've had Friday the 13th, we've had the Halloween game, we've had so many crossovers in DBD, but Saw Genesis is another one. And the thing that I think people should make the distinction between Saw Genesis and the other horror asymmetrical multiplayer games we've seen is that it's very much centered around escape rooms.
Okay.
That's the thing. And I think that's kind of what taps into the sort of ethos of Saw is traps and escaping. That is the whole setup here. So you have one player who's the judge who kind of watches everything from afar, is observing, trying to set people up with traps. I didn't get to play that, but I got to play one of the accused. Those are 3 players as a team work together to get through several escape rooms. And along the way, there are tons of traps. There's a lot of body horror. There's a lot of different things you can do. But it's all about coordination, communicating, and trying to figure out the puzzles that are in front of you as time is running out.
Yeah.
That's kind of what separates it from the rest of these multiplayer games. Because, from afar, you think like, oh, of course Saw is going to do one of these asymmetrical multiplayer games. But now that I got hands-on with it and spent a little time with it, that's kind of what the setup is, and that's what you can expect going into it.
Let's talk about being like an actual survivor in this and not the judge, because who cares about that? It's all about surviving the traps. How does that play?
Ooh, okay, so it's a first-person game, and you are very vulnerable. So you have you go into these rooms. It's kind of like this rickety old 1920s house, and you're going through different rooms with all these mechanical traps and all that. So you with your teammates are running around this room and you're solving puzzles. So, for example, there was one where you have to go into these different rooms and look at notes stuck on dead pigs hanging from the ceiling.
As it is in Saw.
Yeah, and you have to find the code to open the door. Yeah. And you have to go to these different rooms and observe, look at the pigs. And some of those rooms are filled with gas, so you have a limited amount of time that you can actually go into that room and look at the evidence in front of you. So that was one sort of escape room that we saw. There was another one where we had to dissect the bodies of cadavers and insert specific body parts into a pool to then light on fire, which will then activate the next thing you need to unlock to get to the next room. And it was disgusting, but that's what you sign up for. So you have to be very observant. It's like, okay, get the right ear from this specific body and throw it into the pool. And if you don't, you get splashed back with acid and you take damage. So there are very specific objectives that you have to really pay attention to your environment to get it right. And you're scrambling with 2 other people. So this is as the accused, you are not only are you constant panic, but you are also having to pay attention to what is in front of you at the same time. Since you're racing against time, there are ways you can add time to your clock.
Okay.
And one of the things I kept doing was sticking my hand into a trap to get an item. You sacrifice health.
Yeah.
But you get like 3 minutes back. But you have to, this game's in first person, so you have to watch your character do it. So I'm sticking my hand in these blades, and then as soon as I pull it back, it's just ripping into their flesh, and it's, you have to watch it, but it's like, man, that's, okay, I guess they got that part right. You're not just racing against time too. The judge can pop up and start chasing people around. And one of the things, I didn't get to play this myself, but I know my other teammates got to do this, is there will be a moment in which if the judge gets you, you can either sacrifice a body part or you can wait things out in hopes that your teammates will save you. Okay. So there's a bit of a push and pull there where you have to rely on your teammates and communicate with them about what you want to do. So if you get branded though, that's one of the things, like if all 3 players get branded, they automatically lose.
Yeah.
So that's one mechanic there. So it's not just a race against time. So the judge is an active participant in whether or not you succeed, other than, setting up traps.
Yeah.
So, and it's really scary. Again, like when you turn the corner and the judge is right there chasing you. It's this big ass dude in a trench coat. It's almost like Mr. X and Resident Evil 2, like chasing you down. It's like, oh my God, well, you gotta turn the other way, run around, get around sprints, and hopefully you don't run into a trap along the way. So there's a lot of different dynamics going around here.
Yeah. So let's talk about the tension, and like a lot of these asynchronous kind of horror games or whatever really aren't that scary. It's more just like, I'm running away.
Yeah.
Did this feel like this was actually more of a scarier game, or kind of just like you were just excited whenever you saw the judge or something like that?
I think because this game takes place in a really tight environment, there's more surprise. I think the element of surprise is a little bit more present in this game than other asymmetrical horror games I've played.
Yeah.
And so when you don't realize like what the judge is doing, and if they show up, it's like, oh, like I need to turn the other way and sprint. I think those moments of tension, at least from the demo I played, seem to pop up a lot more frequently. But the thing is, like, you're gonna play this game for hours on end, and so 20 hours down the line, it's like, okay, that's the judge, whatever.
Yeah. But if that initial shock is just like, oh my God, this is great.
Yeah, and so like those are the things that are kind of surprising. And sometimes you don't know what the traps are gonna do.
Okay.
Sometimes it'll just be like a smoke screen that gets rid of your stamina, and it's like, okay, I can just wait it out, and that's fine. There are other ones where the door explodes on you if you don't time the button press correctly, and it's like, oh shit, damn.
I heard the maps are procedurally generated.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's one of the things too, is like, you don't just load into a map and if you have map knowledge, that kind of doesn't matter here.
Yeah.
So there's several rooms in sequence that you have to solve, and so you don't know which sort of escape room that you're going to be encountering, and the way the halls are configured will change.
Yeah.
But it's a variation on a similar theme in which, if you play it enough times, the halls might be configured in a different way, but you kind of understand how they're set up. So I think that's one way they're going to keep like variation between each playthrough. I want to see how much more they can play on that, because I think that is an interesting way where it kind of evens the playing field in a way. You don't know what the map is going to be laid out like, but I want to see more variation from the short demo I played.
Let's talk about the lore. When this game was announced, my first thought was like, all right, they're kind of breaking the Saw lore, which I think I'm probably the only person that thought that. But
sure.
Where does this take place? Like, how does it fit into the wider Saw universe?
Yeah, well, they've kind of been able to separate themselves from the Saw movies because this takes place 100 years before the first movie.
Yeah.
So Jigsaw is not, it's kind of the origins of Jigsaw in a way, but Jigsaw is not a character in it. Of course, you'll have the little doll that is present, and it kind of like spooks you out and all that, but it has an aesthetic of a sort of Victorian-esque, a little bit of like the steam engine, steampunk-ish vibe to it. So if you look at the traps and you look at the way the buildings are configured, and like just environmentally, it plays on that era of technology. So you have a lot of like archaic traps, and you've seen in Saw there are a lot of those, but that's like kind of the emphasis here. It's like rusted and like gruesome and disgusting, like rusted blood all over it. Like I think that this setting makes it a little bit more gruesome in that way, and I think it works for what they're going for.
Yeah, I guess it's just kind of like this, very rusted, and don't touch that. You're gonna need a tetanus shot.
Y'all want to take a seat?
I don't want to take a seat, but if you stick around, you'll see even more Gamescom with IGN.
And we are back with more Gamescom studio coverage right here from Gamescom in Cologne, Germany. I'm Alan Knight, and joining me is none other than the creative director and writer for There Are No Ghosts at the Grand, Anil Glendenning, and Billy Boyd, kind of, who fans will know from his work on The Lord of the Rings. Billy, I need to know a little bit. Can you tell me a little bit about your character?
Oh, yes, of course. I'm Robert C. McBrushy. Oh, sorry. So, did you want more than that? But I'm not some one-note annoying tutorial character. Like all of those people that you'll meet in the game, there are hidden depths and mysteries to be uncovered in my story. Plus, I'm voiced by the enormously talented and devilishly handsome Billy Boyd.
All right, so give me a quick primer. What sort of game is There Are No Ghosts at the Grand?
Yeah, well, McBrushy, you want to take this one?
Well, good question. The game doesn't really fit into a neat established genre, you know. We like to keep things unpredictable. But it's more like narrative games. You know, your Firewatches, your What Remains of Edith Finch's, that kind of thing. But instead of walking around and getting lost with a wee map or doing the occasional quick time event, you're renovating rooms in the hotel or tidying up the streets in the village like a renovator game. And you're also hunting for treasure with a metal detector on the beach, or renovating an old fishing boat that you can then use to dredge for secrets.
Now, Anil, this game mixes a few different elements. You know, there's horror, there's hotel renovation, there's musical numbers. When the idea was first taking shape, which of these elements did you first know you had to incorporate?
You know, we actually just started off wanting to make a regular horror game. We wanted to make a haunted house game set in the UK, and your job in that game was to be a decorator. But it's a strange and surreal world that you inhabit, and so all of these strange things, such as McBrushy and even the singing in the game, all fitted within the surreal nature of the world where you can't quite trust what you see or what you hear.
I see. Now, were there any other themes or mechanics that didn't quite make the cut?
Well, we have quite a lot of mechanics in the game already. I mean, you are a decorator, you're a ghost hunter, you can play mini-golf, you can drive scooters around, you know, you can be a gardener. You can do an awful lot in the game. What I can tell you is there are no ghosts at the Grand. I can tell you that. And I can also say there's probably no fishing.
There's no ghosts, there's no fishing. There is mini-golf, though, so we're excited for that one. Now, the protagonist is voiced by Alex Brightman, who is a Tony-nominated actor. What kind of feedback did he provide while you guys were working on the game?
Well, working with Alex was an absolutely fantastic experience. Alex has a lot of experience working on Broadway and improvising. He came off a recent really successful run as Beetlejuice, and so he brought a lot of that same energy into playing our protagonist, Chris David. Half the words that you hear in the game are what I wrote down, and the other half are what Alex improvised on the spot. You know, so we had a lot of banter going back and forth, and so the dialogue and the story were in the game, it feels natural and it feels believable, because half the time even we didn't know what was going to happen next.
That sounds like such a blast and such a fun project to work on. Now, in the development process, did you guys actually do any hotel renovation or ghost hunting in real life?
Actually, I can say yes, we did do a little bit of that. You know, we're based in the UK in a fantastic city called Bristol, which is one of Britain's older medieval cities. It's full of ancient castles and buildings, and even our own office is 400 years old. So we did some research renovating and decorating some of these buildings during the day. May have done more harm than good, but at night, these places are creepy, and the hairs on the back of your neck stick up on end, and you feel like you're being watched. That's the kind of feeling that we want people to have when playing the game, a decorator by day and a ghost hunter by night. Because if you don't hunt those ghosts, you're going to be a dead man by night.
All right, so definitely we want to make sure that we're keeping an eye out for those ghosts. Now, outside of the Grand, there is a small open world to explore. Is it based on any real-world locations?
Absolutely. I mean, the UK is dotted with little seaside towns that have seen better days. You know, as soon as you had cheap flights, people could travel out of Britain to beautiful places like Spain and France and escape the raininess of British beaches. And so they became decaying, they became decrepit. These buildings became empty and abandoned and full of ghost stories. And so our game is set within one of those decrepit, broken down seaside towns where you, as the American Chris David, gets to discover all of the secrets and ghosts, both literal and figurative, that hide within its walls.
I see. Now, it does seem pretty challenging, but for your side, is it more challenging to make a horror game that's scary, a musical number that's catchy, or hotel renovation mechanics that feel more fun rather than a chore?
Well, you know, it's a real balancing act, and we've relied immensely on our community play testing the game and trying out a demo which we have on Steam and feeding back to us how they feel about the songs, how they feel about some of the jump scares, and how they feel about where the story is going. What I can tell you is that no one yet has guessed where this story is going and what the mysteries are lying underneath everything.
Well, that is very exciting. Now I have to ask, when is the game coming out?
Well, I'm really excited to say that we're going to be releasing the game into early access on PC in December of this year.
All right.
Unless, you know, it gets delayed because video games. But the plan is to release this year and be the second best British game with Grand in the title.
Well, Anil, thank you so much. McBrushy, thank you so much.
Check out the new demo at Gamescom and later this year in Steamfest.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, it was a blast having you here, guys. We have a ton more Gamescom studio coverage, so don't go anywhere. And don't forget to check out the early access for There Are No Ghosts of the Grand on Steam this December.
You're watching Gamescom Studio here on IGN, and sadly we're just about wrapped up for the day. In case you missed anything, head on over to IGN.com and IGN's YouTube channel to catch up on all the biggest game trailers, previews, and reveals.
Tomorrow is the last day of live coverage of Gamescom 2026, but along with brand new episodes of your favorite IGN podcasts like Outside Xbox, the IGN UK podcast, and GameScoop, you can also find lots more deep dives and new looks at some of the biggest games that are coming soon.
But until then, thank you so much for joining us here on Gamescom Studio, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Goodbye.
IGN's coverage of Gamescom 2026 is presented by Fable.
IGN Store has everything you need to level up your life.
Red 6 standing by.
Refresh your wardrobe with official gear you won't find anywhere else. From Fallout, Expedition 33, Romeo's a Dead Man, and more. Treat yourself to the coolest collectibles like an adorable SKA plush, your very own Assassin's Creed Hidden Blade, and a fully functional Pip-Boy 3000. Or kick back and relax to your favorite video game soundtracks on vinyl. Whatever you need, IGN Store has you covered. Head to store.ign.com and start shopping today.
Can't find that final collectible you're missing? IGN strategy guides and interactive maps are here to help.
One step at a time.
IGN guides are trusted by millions, easy to use, and best of all, free. IGN has the very best, most complete and accurate guides for Shadow of the Erdtree, Baldur's Gate 3, Tears of the Kingdom, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Zombies, and so much more.
See? It's good, right?
Every guide is tested and verified for you by experts. Just search for IGN when you search for guides.
Do you want to be the very best like no one ever was? Streamline your journey to becoming a master trainer with Planet Pokemon. Choose your Pokemon, filtering by type, stats, or game availability. Then use the full team builder to assemble an unbeatable lineup. Plan out the optimal set of moves, items, and abilities. Play to your strengths by analyzing your team's resistances and offensive coverage. Or really maximize your Poke potential by digging into the stats by adjusting EVs and IVs. And save multiple team builds for different strategies in different games. Plan your dream team today at planetpokemon.com.
The Final Fantasy VII Remake Saga was announced long ago, and now the final entry in the trilogy, Final Fantasy VII Revelation, lies on a foreboding horizon. Here with me to discuss Final Fantasy VII Revelation, it is my pleasure to have Naoki Hamaguchi, director of the Remake Saga, and his interpreter, Gavin Poffley. Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Of course, so let's get right to it. Over at ONL, you had an excellent trailer where you showcase a lot of the weapons from the Final Fantasy VII, I guess, saga in general. So talk to me about their inclusion in the story. How are they encountered?
やっぱそこはこう原作をある程度オマージュしているので、メインストーリーに組み込まれたウェポンもいれば、そのメインストーリーではなく、それこそ最後のボスよりも強いエンドコンテンツとして出てくるような魅力的なウェポンっていうのも用意されています。
So it was pretty much as it was in the original Final Fantasy VII that the game is based on. There's some of the weapons are going to be integral parts of the main story.